Garrett Stevens. Batting seventh. Batting eighth. First base. Number 25. Garrett Stevens. Batting seventh. Batting eighth. First base. Number 75. Garrett Stevens.
And we welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And we welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And we welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. And welcome you to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Cavala, as the Newton Rebels will take on the Hutchinson Monarchs in a makeup game. Once again, we welcome you to Newton Rebels baseball. First batter for the Newton Rebels is Jack Sigris. Pitching is Ryan Scully. Once again, we welcome you to Newton Rebels baseball. First batter for the Newton Rebels is Jack Sigris. There's a hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. Going to the wall. And Sigris will be at second base standing up. Sigris with a double. Hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder backing up all the way. It's going to be over his head. going to the wall. Rodriguez will be at second base standing up with a double. Going to the wall. Rodriguez will be at second base standing up with a double. Andrews going to the wall. Rodriguez will be at second base standing up with a double. Andrews going to the wall. Rodriguez will be at second base standing up with a double. Andrews going to the wall. Rodriguez will be at second base standing up with a double. Andrews going to the wall. Rodriguez will be at second base standing up with a double. Andrews going to the wall. Rodriguez will be at second base standing up with a double.
Whatever it takes.
Andrews going to the wall. Rodriguez will be at second base standing up with a double.
Whatever it takes.
Andrews going to the wall. Rodriguez will be at second base standing up with a double.
Whatever it takes.
Andrews going to the wall. Rodriguez will be at second base standing up with a double.
Whatever it takes.
Andrews going to the wall. Rodriguez will be at second base standing up with a double.
Whatever it takes.
Andrews going to the wall. And we welcome you back to Newton Rebels baseball. Martinez just got a base hit and now standing on at
And we
first
welcome
base.
you back
to Newton Rebels baseball. Andrew Lincolns is now
Martinez
at
just
third
got a
base
base
hit
as
and
he
now
hit
standing
a
on
double.
at
And we
first
welcome you
base.
back to Newton Rebels baseball.
Rebels have
Andrew
scored one
Lincolns
run.
is now
Martinez
at
just
third
got a
base
base hit
first
and now
inning.
standing
Hit a
on
double.
at
And we
first
welcome you
base.
back to Newton Rebels
Newton
baseball.
Rebels have scored
Andrew
one
Big
run.
star right here.
Martinez
He's
just
first
got a
base.
base hit
First
and now
inning.
standing
Hit a
on
double.
at
And we
first
welcome you
base.
back to Newton Rebels
Newton
baseball.
Rebels have scored one
Big
run.
star right here.
Martinez
He's
just
first
got a
base.
base hit and now
Inning.
standing
Hit a
on
double.
at
And we
first
welcome you
base.
back to Newton Rebels
Newton
baseball.
Rebels have scored one
Big star
run.
right here.
17 hits
Big
to
star
the
right
pitcher.
here.
There's been a hitter this evening.
Double.
And we're welcome back to Newton Rebels
Big
baseball.
star.
One
Big
run.
star right here.
17 hits to the pitcher. There's been a hitter this evening. And we're welcome back to Newton Rebels baseball. Audio Stallings. 17 hits to the pitcher. There's been a hitter this evening. Ball gets away from the first baseman, so another run will be scored. As Lincoln Andrews comes across, ball gets away from the first baseman, so another run will be scored. As Lincoln Andrews comes across, ball gets away from the first baseman, so another run will be scored. As Lincoln Andrews comes across, ball gets away from the first baseman, so another run will be scored. As Lincoln Andrews comes across, ball gets away from the first baseman, so another run will be scored. As Lincoln Andrews comes across, ball gets away from the first baseman, so another run will be scored. As Lincoln Andrews not able to get to it as this ball is for a base hit. Not able to get to it as this ball is for a base hit. Not able to get to it as this ball is for a base hit. Not able to get to it as this ball is for a base hit. Not able to get to it as this ball is for a base hit. Not able to get to it as this ball is for a base hit. Not able to get to it as this ball is for a base hit. Not able to get to it as this ball is for a base hit. Not able to get to it as this ball is for a base hit. Not able to get to it as this ball is for a base hit. Not able to get to it as this ball is for a base hit. Not able to get to it as this ball is for a base hit. Not able to get to it as this ball. Ball hit right back to the pitcher, makes the catch, and forced out at double play would be Von Ventry. So we have an F1. and then a 1-3 for the put out for the third out. But not before the Newton Rebels score 2 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. At the end of 1 half inning play, it is the Newton Rebels 2 and the Hutchinson Monarchs coming to bat. Looks like we got the problem solved. Once again, we welcome you to Newton Rebels baseball as the Newton Rebels are in Hutchinson on a make-up date against the Hutchinson Monarchs. We're going to catch you up on the action, what has happened so far. The Newton Rebels came up to bat. Led off as second baseman number 2, Jack Sigris. He got a double. And then our next batter was shortstop number 1, Andrew Brotman. He grounded out to the first baseman for out number 1 on that play. Sigris went to third base. Then there was a pass ball, and Sigris scored on that pass ball. And coming up was first baseman number 21, Lincoln Andrews. Andrews hit a double. And then next up was catcher number 23, Joey Martinez. He had a base hit and scored Lincoln Andrews from second.
Frank, this great start for the Rebels, like we talked about. Slow starters, but they're getting it done right now.
So Andrews scored from second base, and then Joey Martinez went to first base on a throw over to first. That was an error by the pitcher. Bonventre had a base hit, moved Martinez over to third. And then Ricky Hockett lined shot to the pitcher, and the pitcher threw to first base to double up Bonventre. So 2-0 is the score for the Newton Rebels. Leading off with Hudson Monarchs is number 16, Anthony Mckenzie, who is playing second base this evening.
Yeah, Mckenzie, the left-handed hitter, he's pretty pesky. Obviously, he gets on base a lot. But the thing is, with the 2-0 lead right now, you know, Bechtel hasn't seen too many leads like that early. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does. But, you know, he's one of the best pitchers that the Rebels have, definitely.
McKenzie comes in batting .444 as he's appeared at the plate 18 times, has 8 hits, and has scored 6 runs. On the mound for the Newton Rebels is number 35, Aaron Bechtel. Defensively for the Newton Rebels, that one fouled off by McKenzie. The count goes to 2 balls, 2 strikes. Defensively for the Rebels, the first base, number 21, Andrews. Second baseman, number 2, Sigris. Shortstop, number 1, Brotman. Third baseman, number 5, 3, Ross. Left fielder, number 13, Gaston. Center fielder, number 14, Kasane. Right fielder is 30, Hockett. Catcher, number 23, Martinez. And pitching is number 35, Aaron Bechtel. Count goes full now. 3-2 now to Anthony McKenzie, the first batter, here in the bottom half of the first inning for the Hudson Monarchs. Full count. Once again, the score is 2-0 in favor of your Newton Rebels. And here's Bechtel's pitch. That one fouled off to the third base side. That's going to be out of play as Gaston goes clear to the fence to try to make that catch.
And Coach Clark decided to go with a pretty fast outfield out there. And it's a spacious field here at Hobart Ditter. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of action out there, especially with this wind, Frank.
That one fouled off by McKenzie. The count stays full at 3-2. Again, we are in the bottom half of the first inning. Here's Bechtel's pitch. That one fouled off again by McKenzie.
It's like we said, he's a pesky hitter. He's from Sam Houston State. And he's actually, with those numbers that he has, Frank, he's a very consistent hitter.
I'm going to stand up because I can't see the action at home plate here.
Might have to join you.
Count goes full, and there's Bechtel's pitch is fouled off by Mckenzie once again. Good at bat there by Anthony Mckenzie.
That's considered a quality at bat right there. He's ready. How many pitches there? Close to 10? Yeah.
Mckenzie does have some power. He has 4 doubles and 7 RBIs. There's a swing and a miss there by Mckenzie, and Bechtel records his first strikeout of the ball game.
And that's what's frustrating for a pitcher right there, especially on pitch count. That 11 pitches went right to the leadoff guy of the game, and hopefully he can get some guys out with just a few less. Excuse me.
Going to bring up the left fielder, number 10, Clayton Chadwick. Chadwick has appeared at the plate 3 times and is looking for his first base hit as a Hutchinson Monarch. That one fouled off by Chadwick.
Yeah, it's another Sam Houston State player. They've had that through the years, Frank. They've had a lot of them out there.
And here's Bechtel's pitch. That one called strike 2. 0-2 now the count to Clayton Chadwick.
And that's what's nice when you get to college. It keeps sending you players. You got a good pipeline. Kids want to play for you. And
swing and a miss there by Chadwick. And there is now 2 down here in the bottom half of the second inning as Aaron Bechtel records his second strikeout of the ball game.
And that definitely helps that pitch count right there that we're talking about.
That's going to bring up the shortstop, number 9, Dylan Nedved. Tell me a little bit about Nedved there.
Yeah, Nedved, he, like I said, he's been around for a few years, it seems like, but at University of Iowa. He's from Lenexa, Kansas. That's his hometown there, Frank.
Can you give me his height and weight?
Well, right now, let's see. What do I have here? 6'2", 190.
Okay, that's
so he's
what
a good
everybody
size
wants
guy.
to know, so thank you.
Know.
That one fouled up into the infield. Looks like the second baseman, Segris, will be under it, making the catch for out number 3. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Aaron Bechtel as he strikes out the first 2 batter and has the third batter fly out to the second baseman for the third out. So at the bottom half of the first inning for the Hutchinson Monarchs, they score no runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. At the end of 1 inning of play, it is the Newton Rebels 2 and the Hutchinson Monarchs 0, and we'll be right back. And we welcome you back to Newton Rebels baseball as we go to the top half of the second inning. The score, the Newton Rebels 2 and the Hutchinson Monarchs 0. Leading all for the Newton Rebels will be the third baseman, number 3, Lachlan Ross.
They make some adjustments out there in the outfield and steps off the rubber.
Ryan Schooley in for his second inning of work, a left-handed pitcher. First pitch misses inside for ball 1, so the count is 1-0.
Yeah, Schooley, 6'2", 190, lefty from Iowa Western. Another pop fly.
Ball popped up into the infield. First baseman gets under it, makes the catch for out number 1. That's Easton Rent making the out.
And Frank, one thing you definitely run hard out of the box. You can't be watching the fly ball. You run hard. What happens, you'll probably end up at second if they misjudge the ball.
It's going to bring up the center fielder, number 14, Sam Kasane.
Sam Kasane, the new addition from last week, Neosho County product.
That one fly out to the right fielder backing up, making the catch for out number 2. So we have 2 down now here in the top half of the second inning. It's going to bring up the left fielder, number 13, Darius Gaston.
Gaston's definitely a speed guy that, like I said, he's learning how to, he's getting more confidence. I talked to him yesterday about it. From Alexandria, Louisiana.
Count is no balls and 1 strike to Gaston. As Cooley's ready to go. Breaking ball, that one fouled off for strike 2. 0-2 now the count.
He's the type of guy, Frank, he doesn't even get on base with those wheels, and that's what he's trying to figure out, how to get on base, and he's been working on his bunting, whatever it takes.
Gaston comes in batting .273 as he's appeared in 9 ball games, has been up 22 times, has 6 hits, and has scored 4 runs. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Gaston. Here in the top half of the second inning, 2-0 in favor of your Newton Rebels as they scored 2 runs in the top half of the first. That one hit into over the second baseman, head into the second baseman. Great job by jumping up and making that catch. That's Anthony Mckenzie making that play for out number 3. Timed it just perfectly. So the top half of the second inning for the Newton Rebels, they scored no runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. At the end of 1.5 innings to play, it is the Newton Rebels 2 and the Hutchinson Monarchs 0. And we welcome you back to Newton Rebels baseball as we go to the bottom half of the second inning. The score 2-0 in favor of Newton. Leading off, coming up for the Hutchinson Monarchs will be the designated hitter number 18, Taylor Barber. He'll be followed by the third baseman number 13, Austin Callahan. And then the catcher number 14, Garrett Stevens.
One thing, Frank, I was just noticing, look at the infield here, how the grass is cut shorter, much less than what we have in Newton. So it's a different, surface that the guys have to go out there and get used to, especially the infielders. It's not going to slow down as much.
Barber comes in batting .429 for the Hutchinson Monarchs. He's been up the plate 28 times, has 12 hits, and has scored 10 runs. Also has 10 RBIs.
Yeah, Barber's been the guy that's been around here. 6'2", 225 from University of Texas, San Antonio.
First pitch there by Bechtel is called strike 1. So the count is no balls and 1 strike. Here in start off the bottom half of the second inning.
It's one thing about the Monarchs, they have a veteran crew. I mean, guys that have been here for a few years.
Ball hit to up the middle. Shortstop. What a great job by Brotman as that one went right up his arm. And he was able to snag it with his right hand on the run and throw it to first base for out number 1.
Yeah, that's the way to keep it in front of you. And he like I say, he has great hands and all. But the key was that if it was at Newton, it had been held up a little just because how high the grass is.
It's going to bring up the third baseman, number 13, Austin Callahan.
Yeah, Callahan 6'2", 215 from right here, Hutch JUCO.
That one hit hard into right field. Right fielder not able to get to it as it goes over his head. And Callahan will be on at the third base as the ball gets past the third baseman, Ross.
Yeah.
Backing up will be Bechtel. So Callahan will be in with a triple.
And it's going to be like that, Frank. Hawkett's a very good outfielder, and he was having trouble with it right off the start. The one thing Darius needs to do is follow to the throw and make sure he backs up the throw right there and, out in left field. Somebody needs to back that up.
Ricky Hockett out in right field, misplaying that ball. That's going to bring up the catcher, number 14, Garrett Stevens.
He's had a good series against us.
Swing and a miss there by Stevens.
It's 6 foot, 200 pounds from Fort Hays.
Stevens comes in batting .263. Been at the plate 19 times, has 5 hits, and has scored 3 runs.
And the infielders are back right now, the middle infield especially. So if he hits a ground ball, he'll score. It could be a score. But right now, I think Bechtel's trying to go for the punch out.
Swing and a miss there by Stevens for out number 2.
Called that one. That's what he needed that now. 2 outs.
Second out of the inning, the third strikeout of the ball game for Bechtel. And that will bring up the first baseman, number 25, Easton Rent.
Yeah, the big lefty, 6'3", 220 from Coffeyville. Actually, his hometown is Salina, Kansas.
Well, one thing we definitely don't want to do is give him a run here by a pass ball or anything. That one hit to the pitcher. Pitcher should be able to go to first. Bechtel to Andrews at first base for out number 3. So it's a 1-3 put out for the third out, and a runner is left stranded at third base as Callahan had a triple on that misplay ball out in right field. So the bottom half of the second inning for the Hutchinson Monarchs, they score no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. At the end of 2 innings of play, it is the Newton Rebels 2 and the Hutchinson Monarchs 0. And we'll be right back. And we welcome you back to Newton Rebels Baseball as we go to the top half of the third inning here in Hutchinson, Kansas. As the Newton Rebels are up 2-0 over Hutchinson here early. Looks like we're going to go to the top of the lineup for the Newton Rebels. Leading off will be the second baseman, number 2, Jack Sigris, who started off the ball game with a double in his first time at bat and scored a run.
Yeah, it's just it's going to be a different game. The key today is just put the ball in play, especially if you put it up in the air.
Well, we definitely got a pretty good pitcher out there right now as he has recorded 3 strikeouts so far, and as he has faced 7 batters so far. So Sigris is up at the plate, and here's Schooley's first pitch into the ground for ball 1 as it hops past the catcher. Umpire retrieves that.
Yeah, I consider Sigris being probably one of the top 2 or 3 consistent hitters so far in the early part of this summer.
So the count is 1 ball, no strike. That one missing inside for ball 2. 2-0 now the count to Sigris. Sigris against the Hutchinson Monarchs is batting .462 as he's been up the bat 13 times, has 6 hits, and has scored 1 run. So that makes that 7 hits and 2 runs now, as he had that double and scored a run.
Yeah, I think he's the key. He gets on base, he makes things happen. There's no doubt.
Count is 3-1 now. Hard hit ball to the shortstop. Shortstop Nedved comes up with it, goes across to the first baseman, Rent, for out number 1. So a 6-3 put out for the first out here in the top half of the 3rd inning. It's going to bring up the shortstop number 1, Andrew Brotman. Brotman made a great play there last inning, as that was the ball was hit up the middle, and the ball went right up his arm and kind of bounced to his right and was able to catch it on the run, one-handed, to throw out the runner.
He kept his composure. Had a perfect throw.
Brotman comes in batting .364 against the Hutchinson Monarchs. That one hit into right field. The right fielder,
It's
catcher, makes the catch.
I was going to say, Frank, it's funny. You see like especially the right fielders that we've seen, they get under the ball, but all of a sudden they move real quick because that wind's it's coming down, then all of a sudden it's just shifting. So you cannot catch a ball where you're usually standing there right in place. It's going to be moving.
The ball is from first base towards left field. The wind is, I should say. That first pitch to Lincoln Andrews is ball 1. Andrews reached on a double his first time up, scored an RBI, and also scored a run as Martinez hit a single. That one missing outside for ball 2. 2-0 the count now.
Yeah, I've been real impressed with him probably his last 4 or 5 games. He's really, found the fat of the bat on the ball.
That one missing inside for ball 3. 3-0 now the count to Lincoln Andrews, who's playing first base this evening for the Newton Rebels. That one in there for call strike. 3-1 now the count.
Just make the pitcher work. Like I said, everybody's up in innings, trying to get them up, get their innings up there. I mean, that's the only way you can do it.
Here's Sterling's pitch. That one hit to the second baseman, a line shot. Not sure whether he's going to call it fair ball. He's going to call it a fair ball. He says it hit the ground first, and the second baseman just threw the ball down, and Andrews was not thinking that was a line shot also. The home plate umpire said it hit the ground, and so did the outfield umpire. They both thought that the ball hit the ground before the second baseman, Mckenzie, caught that ball.
Yeah, I wasn't sure on that, Frank. It was so close, but I mean, it's the umpire called it. You just got to play it.
Well, they both called it that way.
Yeah. So you just got to play
it.
it.
They must have saw something that the other players did not see. So Andrews will be on.
And Coach McHugh, he wasn't real happy, but he got the explanation and walked off, not shaking his head.
It's going to bring up the catcher, number 23, Joey Martinez. That hard hit ball into left center field. That's going to be in for extra bases. Martinez in for extra bases as Andrews is now running third base. Here comes the throw into home. They're going to get him standing up for out number 3. And Martinez will get credit with a double. A great toss there by the center fielder to the cutoff man, shortstop Nedved, who threw a strike into home. And that is the third out.
That's perfect defensive execution right there, Frank. That's what you always teach those kids, right? You've been coaching through these years. Always hit that cutoff, and that's exactly what they did. And unfortunately for the Rebels, Lincoln was out.
So at the top half of the third inning for the Newton Rebels, they scored no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. At the end of 2.5 innings of play, Newton Rebels 2 and the Hutchinson Monarchs 0, and we'll be right back. And we welcome you back to Newton Rebels baseball as we go to the bottom half of the third inning. The score 2-0 in favor of Newton over the Hutchinson Monarchs. Leading off for the Hutchinson Monarchs will be the right fielder number 19, Kobe Ketcher. He'll be followed by the center fielder number 12, Brayton Whitchurch. And then in the hole we have second baseman number 16, Anthony Mckenzie. So far, the Newton Rebels scored 2 runs in the top half of the second inning, as they now have 6 hits, no errors, and Hutchinson has no runs on 1 hit and 1 error.
And the catcher, the catcher is the outfielder here.
Right fielder,
that's hitting, yeah. And
hard hit ball back to the first baseman. Bechtel goes to first base for out number 1. So a 1-3 put out for the first out. 1 pitch, 1 out.
That's good. It's like I said, we're talking about the pitch count and innings right now, and so I mean that's good for Bechtel.
It's going to bring up the center fielder number 12, Brayton Whitchurch. Whitchurch made that great play out in left center field. Here's Bechtel's pitch, missing outside for ball 1. What can you tell me about Whitchurch?
Well, Whitchurch, 6'1", 180, from southwestern Oklahoma State. He's from Wichita.
Okay. And the count is 1 ball, no strikes. That one fouled off by Whitchurch. And the count will even up now at 1-1.
Well, it's definitely a beautiful day, Frank. Just the win. But that's Kansas.
Well,
I mean, that's Kansas, but it's beautiful.
And the heat.
The heat.
I understand that it's going to get up there in the temperature in the next couple of days. That one in there calls strike 2. So the count will go down to 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Brayton Whitchurch.
And I think that's an adjustment for a lot of kids, you know, that come, especially from the north. They come down to play. They're not used to this humidity.
Missing outside, and that will even up the count now at 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2-2 now the count. We have 1 down here in the bottom half of the third inning. And here's Bechtel's pitch. A swing and a miss there by Whitchurch as he went for an outside pitch. Great pitch there by Aaron Bechtel as he records the second out of the inning. And that is the 4th strikeout recorded by Aaron Bechtel here in the ball game. It's going to bring up the second baseman, number 16, Anthony Mckenzie. Mckenzie struck out his first time at the plate.
And Frank, we don't know his pitch count, Bechtel's pitch count, but 11 of the pitches went to this guy right here hitting Mckenzie.
Mckenzie coming in batting .444 for the season.
And I like that. I mean, Bechtel's starting out, I mean, right there, 2 strikes, pumping 2 strikes. Now he can throw whatever he wants to throw.
That one is fouled off by Mckenzie.
So that might have been a little too close. It was up, just a little up. It was over the plate.
Carv, I said that Mckenzie batting .444. Against the Newton Rebels, he's only batting .200.
Wow.
As he had been up the bat 5 times and only had 1 hit. Make that 6 times now.
Yeah, well, he's one of the league's best. There's no doubt about that.
And this is the 7th time up against a Newton Rebel pitcher. Count is 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Mckenzie. That one called strike 3 right on the inside corner. And Mckenzie goes down looking for the third out.
And I want to say something, Martinez and Bechtel working so well together. Martinez was going outside. The pitch before was way outside, and what did he do? Came right back inside. And Bechtel has the confidence, and he's hitting his spots. You know, he's doing a great job right now.
And Aaron Bechtel records his 5th strikeout of the ball game. So the bottom half of the third inning for the Hutchinson Monarchs, they scored no runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. At the end of 3, the Newton Rebels 2 and the Hutchinson Monarchs 0, and we'll be right back. And we welcome you back to Newton Rebels baseball as we go to the top half of the 4th inning. The score of the Newton Rebels 2 and the Hutchinson Monarchs 0. Leading off for the Newton Rebels will be the designated hitter, number 17, Enzo Bonventry.
What's his nickname?
Enzo the Boom Bonventry. My bad.
I know it, yeah. I got to keep reminding you, Frank, I know.
Bonventry comes in batting .273 as he's appeared in 11. Frickson's been up the bat 11 times. Has 3 hits against the Hutchinson Monarchs.
And he's been on a roll lately. I'd say probably his last 3 or 4 games, and hopefully this keeps it going.
Bonventry batting .286 in conference play. He's appeared in 10 ball games. He's been up the bat 35 times and has 10 hits. Count is 2 balls, 1 strike now to Bonventry. Ryan Scully, left-handed pitcher, throws that one into the dirt. And the count now goes 3-1 to Bonventry. Bonventry got a base hit the first time. Was doubled up as Hockett hit a shot right back to the pitcher. And Bonventry was taken off on the pitch and was not able to get back, and they doubled him up for the third out. That one calls strike 2, so the count now goes full at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And that's all right there. Enzo was looking for 1 spot, and that ball was kind of a pitcher's pitch down low.
That one low for ball 4, so Bonventry will be on for his 2nd time here in the ball game. And that will bring up the designated hitter, number 30, Ricky Hockett. We'll see what Coach Clark has on play here.
Well, you know, Enzo, he's an average speed at best, let's say, you know, but he's not a speedster. But you never know if he's going to have something like a bunt or something just to get him in scoring position.
Hockett does square around and pulls back. That one's ball 1. That one was out high and outside.
And what's nice being up here in the box, Frank, as you can see with the camera, is how the defense, how they're reacting to the bunt.
And we have it on wide screen. That's as far as we can go. So that one is bunted to the first base side. The catcher will make that play at first base.
Yep, that's execution. That's a great job by
for out number 1. That's number 14, Garrett Stevens. So a sacrifice there by Hockett as Bonventry will move to second base. It's going to bring up the third baseman, number 3, Lachlan Ross. Ross comes in batting .355 as he's appeared in 10 ball games. Has been up the bat 31 times, has 11 hits, and has scored 4 runs.
He's definitely a good hitter, a 400 hitter at Colby.
First pitch was a strike. That one missed inside. The ball gets away from the catcher. Bonventry not going anywhere.
Yeah, that was a tough play right there. The catcher did a good job just keeping it in front, just went off to the side. Just had to locate the ball, which is down the first base side.
Once again, Garrett Stevens, the catcher for the Hutchinson Monarchs.
Seen some good catcher play
Yes,
so
we
far
have.
in the last 2-3 weeks.
So the count is 1-1 now to Lachlan Ross. Due up next is the center fielder, number 14, Sam Kasane. With one down here in the top half of the fourth inning. That one missing high for a ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike now to Ross. As the Newton Rebels have a runner at second base in scoring position with 1 down. That ball popped up into the infield. Second baseman backing up, Mckenzie. Except the right field, that ball hit into right field. I thought Mckenzie was going to get that the way he was getting under it, and then all of a sudden, next thing I see is the right fielder getting under it and making the catch. So that is Kobe Kitcher for out number 2.
And I think we will see some with some of the balls that are going up the right field. The center fielder is going to come over and get it. Same with the second baseman, the shortstop. So that's how bad this win is.
Going to bring up the center fielder, number 14, Sam Kasane. Kasane struck out, or correction, flew out to right field. His first time at the plate in the second inning, as he made the second out of that inning. Swing and a miss there by Kasane.
Yeah, I think Kasane's still trying to get his timing down. I mean, his swing is not real bad right now, just that timing.
Kasane comes in batting .231. He's appearing in his 4th ball game here for the Newton Rebels. Being up to bat 14 times. This makes 15.
I'm sure the more he sees it, because he was a very good hitter there in the Usher. So, I mean, more he sees pitches, he's just going to get better.
Count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. Now to Sam Kasane. Runner on at second base and 2 down. That one missing inside for ball 2. 2-1 now the count.
Well, Schooley's definitely keeping the ball down. And he's missing down.
And here's Schooley's pitch. That one hit into center field. Center fielder backing up. That's Whitchurch.
Wow.
And a nice catch there by Whitchurch on the track area for out number 3. So hard hit ball there by Kasane, but Whitchurch was able to track it down for the 3rd out. So the top half of the 4th inning for the Newton Rebels, they scored no runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. At the end of 3.5 innings of play, the Newton Rebels 2 and the Hutchinson Monarchs 0, and we'll be right back. And we welcome you back to Newton Rebels Baseball. Frank Martinez, your play-by-play announcer tonight, joined along by General Manager Mark Carvala. We are in Hutchinson, Kansas, as the Newton Rebels take on your Hutchinson Monarchs, or the Hutchinson Monarchs against the Newton Rebels.
There you go. It's been a
All
long
right.
day. I know that, Frank.
Yeah. All right, we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. And leading off over the left fielder, number 10, Clayton Chadwick. Aaron Bechtel starting his 4th inning to work. That hard hit ball into right field. That's going to be in for extra bases. That is going to be a ground rule double as that ball took 1 bounce and went into the tree area. And right away, the right fielder, Ricky Hockett, lifted up his arms to let everybody know that was over the fence.
But you notice, he struck out the first time. Now he's making an adjustment, and he was going to jump on that first pitch because Bechtel's coming after guys right now.
Going to bring up the shortstop, number 9, Dylan Nedved. Nevitt flew out to the second baseman his first time at the plate in the first inning as he made the third out. So we have a runner on at second base. Chadwick, they're taking a good lead. Bechtel never even looked back, but he did not take off. So the first pitch is ball one to Dylan Nedved.
Yeah, they might need to. Sigrist probably needs to come over, play with, walk towards second, or try to get him a step back towards second. It's too big a lead.
Nedved comes in batting .385.
Yeah.
And looks like.
And I can see that was going to happen. I mean, because he was getting that. You just brought it up, the big lead.
Chadwick has a stolen base. Count is 1-1 strike. Check swing there by Nedved. And he says, no, we did not go. So the count will go to 2-1 strike.
Yeah, that was kind of, I don't know about that one. I thought he might have went through it. But the thing is, the key for the Rebels, they just have to keep scoring. I mean, that's what it's going to be. It's not there, because Hutch will probably score.
That one hit hard to the shortstop, backs up. He only has one play, and that's to first base. As the runner scores, Chadwick scores from third base. That was Brotman making that play to first base for out number one. So a 6-3 put out for the first out and an RBI for Nedved. It's going to bring up the designated hitter, number 18, Taylor Barber. So the score now 2-1 in favor of your Newton Rebels, as Hutchinson just scored a run. Barber batting .429.
Yeah,
for the season.
Actually, you look through that, Frank. Look at those, the averages, the runs scored. They'll put up some runs, and we just have to keep executing, get runs across.
And Nedved batting .385 against the Newton Rebels.
Yeah, he's been tough.
2-0 to count now to Barber. As we are in the bottom half of the fourth inning, the score 2-1 in favor of Newton. We do have one out. Is Bechtel's pitch missing outside and low for ball 3. So 3-0 now the count.
I know Coach Clark's been extending the pitchers a little more now, maybe 10, 20 pitches more.
That one missing high for ball 4. So he walks him on 4 pitches. So Barber will reach on base for the very first time. That is the first walk given up by Bechtel. It's going to bring up the third baseman, number 13, Austin Callahan. Callahan hit that triple in the second inning as he hit the ball into right field, and Hockett was not able to get under it. Had plenty of time, but just missed.
Yeah, no,
just looked like he just didn't see it and fell over his head. So Callahan was in with a triple. That's a hard hit ball into left field. Gaston backing up all the way back to the wall. Not going to be able to get to it. Here comes Barber around third base, and the throw's going to come in home. Not going to be in time.
Yeah.
As Barber scores from first base, and Callahan goes to third base on the throw, so he gets credit with a double and an RBI. And now the score is all tied up at 2 apiece.
See, and Brotman probably should have held on to that ball, because you're also, you're throwing against that wind. And what it enabled to do, because we didn't really have a play at home, is for him to get to third base.
So now the Hutchinson Monarchs scored 2 runs here in the bottom half of the fourth inning to tie the ball game up. It's going to bring up the catcher, number 14, Garrett Stevens. And with that throw into home, Callahan went to third base. There's a hard hit ball into left field. Gaston coming in, trying to time it. Taking off will be Callahan. Here he comes. Here's the throw into home. Not going to be in time as Callahan scores easily standing up. So 3 runs here in the bottom half of the fourth inning for the Hutchinson Monarchs. has put them ahead 3-2.
The first baseman, Easton.
And again, Frank, when you're an outfielder and you're throwing the ball up in the air against that wind, it's just going to slow things down. It's got to be more down. It's got to be more on top of the ball.
It's going to bring up the first baseman, number 25, Easton Rent. Rent coming up with 2 down now here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Hutchinson has had 2 doubles here in this inning. There's a swing and a miss there by Rent.
Yeah, Bechtel, he couldn't look any better those first 3 innings right there.
Well, he had only given up 1 hit in the first 3 innings, and now he has given up 2 big hits as Hutchinson has 2 doubles here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. And like you say, if that throw wouldn't have been made at home, Callahan would be standing at third base right now instead of scoring a run.
Just little things like that, because you get into the game, and I'm sure Andrew was all excited, maybe had a shot on it, but you forget all those elements at the wind, and everything else. And they're an aggressive team, base running team.
Count is 1 ball, 2 strikes. That one missing low for ball 2, so the count will go to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
But if you notice, you look at your score sheet, that first time around, the lineup, now you look at the second time around, they're making adjustments right now.
Ball grounded to the shortstop, or first baseman, not able to get to it. Kind of did a Buckner there.
Yeah.
And just was not aggressive enough to chase that ball down. And then when he saw that he wasn't going to be able to touch the first base, he tossed it to the pitcher covering, but Rent was right in the way.
Yeah, it had some bounce to it. It had some spin to it and all that. And the ball played you play the ball plays you, whatever. And right there, the ball played him.
So there's going to be an error there by the Newton Rebels. Will allow Rent to be on at first base. Going to bring up the right fielder, number 19, Kobe Ketcher. Breaking ball missing inside for ball 1. 1-0 now to right fielder Ketcher.
And this is 7th batter of the inning, so it's a long inning for Bechtel.
Aaron Bechtel was cruising through 3 and got in a little trouble here in the 4th. That one missing outside for ball 2. 2-0 now the count to Kobe Ketcher.
And one thing we've seen from the Rebels, they won't give up. They'll fight back. They've been doing that.
They've been doing that the last 4 or 5 ball games. They've really, but you can't keep giving them runs.
No.
That has really cost us. That one fouled off by Ketcher.
And I had to talk with Coach Clark after the game yesterday, and he's concerned about that, some of the easy runs, because we were talking about how hard it is for us to score, how easy it is that everybody else all of a sudden scores.
And that one went out into the parking lot. If something happened to my vehicle, I'm going to remember number 19. Swing and a miss there by Ketcher. So the count will go now to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And Frank, one thing I always talked about, when you score a run, it's called shutdown inning. Shut them down that next inning. And we have trouble with that because we'll score and we'll give it up a lot. So that's just focus and executing.
Here's Bechtel's pitch. That one fouled off again to the parking lot area.
And I think a lot of times young players, they know we got the lead or whatever, okay, we could sit back now. No, this baseball, and you've not seen enough the last, 2 or 3 weeks? No lead safe.
Count still 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Ketcher. And here's Bechtel's pitch. A breaking ball missing inside. So the count will go full now at 3-2.
It's like Coach Clark has somebody loosening up. Just kind of stretching out there in the bullpen.
Runner on at first base. He'll be taken off on the pitch as there is 2 down. That one missing high for ball 4. So Rent will go to second base. Ketcher will move to first base. That's the second base on balls given up by Aaron Bechtel this inning and in this ball game.
Yeah, Coach Clark's going to settle him down. I think he definitely wants him to finish this inning because right now we have nobody in the bullpen even playing catch.
And Coach Clark comes out to talk to Aaron Bechtel. Say they don't have a pitch count here, so
Yeah,
55, 36 strikes.
55?
55.
55 pitches so far for Bechtel. Thank you, sir.
Thanks to our good friend, Steve Carpenter, a legend here.
In Hutchinson.
Yes, he is. I've known him for, I don't know, 25 years? Yeah, long time. And
Now batting for the Monarchs, the center fielder.
You know, he's one of those kind of guys that when you grow up, you want to be just like him.
well, some people say that about you, Frank. So I mean, so.
So now batting will be the center fielder, number 12, Braden Whitchurch. We do appreciate it, Steve. Ball hit into center field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Another run should score, but there is a throw into home. Not going to be enough as Joey Martinez comes all the way out in front of
Single RBI.
home plate to make that stop.
And the one thing that Hutch the first 3 games, and if you could recall, Frank, is the 2-out hitting. We get 2 outs on, okay, we got them. Then all of a sudden base hit, and they score 3 or 4 runs. And the Achilles heel of the Newton Rebels is allowing big runs. Crooked numbers, 4 runs right now in 1 inning.
So the score now 4-2 in favor of Hutchinson. Well, there's a reason that the Hudson Monarchs are 6-1, have only lost 1 game here this season.
Yeah, they've got it going right now. I mean, they've got a great pitching staff. They have experienced hitters.
They are currently in second place behind the Cheney Diamond Dogs, who are 12-0. And here's Bechtel's pitch missing inside, so the count will go to 2 balls and no strikes.
And one thing I've learned through the years is that to beat these kind of teams, you got to earn it. You got to go out there and really earn it. They're not just going to give it to you.
Well, every team in the league has definitely improved with a lot of Division I players playing this year in this league. That one hit fouled off by Mckenzie. So the Hudson Monarchs have scored 4 runs so far. They have runners on at first and second with 2 down. And Anthony Mckenzie is the 9th batter up at the plate for the Monarchs this inning. Here's Bechtel's pitch. That one missing inside. Martinez tried to frame it there. Okay, I don't think 3 knows the count because I thought he fouled it off. Yep.
It's like Bolt Jackson is in the bullpen right now, getting ready.
Okay. And here's Bechtel's pitch. That one in there called strike. So the count will go full now at 3-2. With runners at first and second and 2 down, both runners will be taking off on the pitch. This can be very dangerous.
Yep.
As they got a head start here. And here's Bechtel's pitch. That one fouled off by Mckenzie. He just stuck his bat out, trying to protect that plate.
And you get the runners going. I mean, when you get the runners going and 3-2 count, that's an awesome. Hitters usually love to hit in that situation.
We can't see in the grandstands, but we can see down the line on the third base side. Got a lot of fans here in Hutchinson.
Oh, yeah.
They really support their Hudson Monarchs. That one hard hit ball into right field. The right field comes in and then stops. Hockett will get it on the bounce. Another run scores. They're going to tag out at second.
Whoa.
They say he's safe at second base. And
Yeah.
Coach Clark's going to come out to argue that call. So catcher will score from second base, and Whitchurch ends up at third base. Mckenzie ends up at second base as Hockett let that bounce in front of him. Was not going to be able to get it, so he just stopped and let it bounce through to second base, and Mckenzie kept running, rounding the base and going to second base. Looked like we had a tag there at second base, but they said that it was late.
Yeah, he's going to call him in. I mean, the ball clearly beat the runner and left the tag. And usually that's what happens. Usually that's what they do, you know.
Looks like that may be it for Aaron Bechtel here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. As 5 runs have scored so far here in the bottom half of the fourth inning.
Yeah, I wish we had that instant replay slow-mo action that we could see that, because the ball clearly beat the runner. Now, wherever he put the tag, it looked like he tagged right on the bag, but the umpire was right on it, I guess. I'm trying to be political here, Frank. I don't know what you say.
Coming in to pitch for the Newton Rebels will be number 51, Jordan Bolt Jackson. He's a 6'3", 200-pounder from Southwestern College, where he is a sophomore. He's from San Diego, California. So Bolt Jackson will be coming in to pitch now for the Newton Rebels. And let me try to get some updated stats here give you a final number for Aaron Bechtel.
I'll tell a little on Bolt Jackson, Jordan Bolt Jackson from San Diego, 6'3", 200. Sophomore. He's going to Southwestern College down there in Winfield, Kansas. He's had some impressive outings.
Looks like the final numbers for Aaron Bechtel. He will go 3 2/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 5 runs, 3 earned runs, 2 base on balls, and had a total of 5 strikeouts as he faced 19 batters. So coming in to pitch will be number 51. That's Jordan Bolt Jackson now coming in for the Newton Rebels. There is runners on at second and third that will be charged to Bechtel.
Yeah, that was an interesting call there on the slide into second base there, Frank. I know Andrew Brotman, he's still talking to the umpire there. They're having a discussion there, but he's safe.
Once again, the score now 5-2 in favor of Hutchinson, that they scored 5 runs here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. And here's Bolt Jackson's first pitch, missing low for ball 1. The batter is the left fielder number 10, Clayton Chadwick. And Martinez calls timeout. Go out there to talk to Bolt Jackson.
Yeah, they're relaying the signals back from.
As this is the 10th batter in this inning for the Hutchinson Monarchs. So first base is open, as we do have runners on at second and third. We do have 2 down here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. And Bolt Jackson ready to go. Here's the pitch. That one missing inside for ball 2. 2-0 now the count to Clayton Chadwick. Chadwick struck out his first time at the plate and got a double in the fourth inning. Stole third base, and scored on a 6-3 put out by Nedved as he got an RBI. Scored the first run for the Hutchinson Monarchs. That one called strike 1. So the count will go now to 2 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, I like Bolt Jackson. I mean, I think it's a cool name, Bolt Jackson. But, you know, he's always has a smile on his face. He loves to play the game. Good attitude.
Yeah, there's a lot of the ball players that will talk to me before the game starts.
Right.
say hello. And he happens to be one that has a smile on his face, like you
Yeah.
said. Jackson steps off and now ready to go again, as the count is 2 balls, 1 strike to Clayton Chadwick, left fielder for the Hutchinson Monarchs. And here's the pitch. That one missing inside, gets away from Martinez. He can't find the ball as the ball goes clear to the
It's
first
going
base
on
side.
second.
Another run's going to come in to score.
Oh, scored
So
2.
2-run score now, as the score now goes to 7-2 in favor of the Hutchinson Monarchs. Great job there by Anthony Mckenzie, as Martinez lost that ball and could not find it, and he finally went toward the first base dugout area, in the grass area, and Bolt went after the ball, but nobody was covering home, and Mckenzie saw that, and he came in to score clear from second base. So 7 runs have scored here in the bottom half of the 4th inning, and there is ball 4, and Martinez better hustle because Clayton Chadwick is hustling down the first base and might take second.
Yeah, right now, I mean, the Rebels just having a breakdown. They have breakdowns on these big innings that, 7 runs right now. And I think every game we've seen recently, it's been 1 inning.
So Chadwick is on with a base on balls. It's going to bring up the shortstop, number 9, Dylan Netved. This is the 11th batter up at the plate here this inning, as the Hutchinson Monarchs has scored 7 runs. They do have 2 down, but they do have a runner on at first base. 7-2 is the score. That one missing high for ball 2. 2-0 now the count to Dylan Netved.
And this is a long inning, Frank, and you got these fielders standing out there for a long time. And you start getting on your heels a little.
That one missing inside. Bo Jackson wanted that call, but didn't get it.
Yeah, it was clearly inside. You can see from right here.
So 3-0 now the count. There goes the runner to second base, and that's called strike 1. Chadwick will end up at second base, and the count will go to 3 balls, 1 strike to Dylan Netved, the shortstop for the Hutchinson Monarchs. And there's ball 4. So Netved will be on at first base. Second walk given up by
The designated hitter, Taylor Barber.
Jordan Boat Jackson. Will bring up the designated hitter, number 18, Taylor Barber.
There's a couple Rebels out there in the bullpen getting loose. Let's see, Kyle Landwehr, he's done a pretty good job the last couple outings. He's right on the mound there getting loose.
So Taylor Barber, first pitch to him is called strike 1 on the outside corner. And Clayton Chadwick once again had a good lead at second base. So no balls, 1 strike. They will take off with 2 outs if you don't hold them on. And here thought he was going. He went more than halfway there. Count it evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, that's a big lead. I mean, that's and you could probably do a pitch out and get him or something like that, even if you have a play on.
Well, you definitely could, because he's going more than halfway there before the pitch. There Jackson. Bo Jackson steps off. So the count is 1 ball, 1 strike to Taylor Barber.
That's what I was saying. Sigris needs to maybe play them a little, just come in there and, come to, like he's crashing or something like that. But you also leave that right side open if you don't get back in time.
There goes Chadwick along with Nedved. It was fouled off by Barber, so both runners will head back to their bases, first and second. Chadwick is back at second and Nedved back at first. The count is 1 ball, 2 strikes to Taylor Barber, who walked his last time up and scored a run.
And I know Coach McHugh, he'll just keep going. He'll keep staying aggressive, keep running, and get that score up there.
And here's the pitch. There goes the runners. That one lifted into left field. Not sure if somebody's going to get to it. No, they didn't. And that falls right between the shortstop and the left fielder as 2 more runs score here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Barber's in with a double.
Well, and I think Gaston, he's playing back with that win, so he had a long ways to go.
Yeah, he took off as soon as the ball was hit, but just was not able to get to it as that was right over between the shortstop and the left fielder. So 2 more runs have scored. The score now 9-2 in favor of Hutchinson. And once again, the Hutchinson Monarchs have scored 9 runs here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. On the 5 hits so far here this inning. That is the 3rd double this inning.
Fortunately, I've been on the end, like I said, Coach Clark's in right there as a head coach, and it's frustrating because you're trying to, how can we stop these guys? They got all this momentum going. That's a game of momentum. How do you stop them? How do you get back into the game? So you really have to challenge your players.
Well, it didn't help that they've had 2 errors this inning. There goes the runner to third base. Ain't going to be in time.
It's no chance.
No chance if you don't look them back. They got a lot of speed on this Hutchinson Monarch team.
Yeah,
you can't let them just take off. You got to challenge them a little bit. So Barber's now standing at third base with 2 down.
Coach McHugh, he's just going to keep it going. He's going to keep going and say, hey, till you stop me.
That one missing high for ball 2. 2-1 now the count to Austin Callahan. Callahan has a double and a triple here in the ball game so far. 1 RBI. Here's the pitch by Bo Jackson, missing high for ball 3. 3-1 now the count. And this inning has lasted longer than the first 3 innings lasted, I believe. If I had to bet $1, that would be my bet. That one hit to the second baseman. Nobody covering first base. Now here comes Bo Jackson. Oh, wow. Okay. I thought that was going to be another base hit. All right, so a 4-3 put out, but Bo Jackson finally made it over to first base for the 3rd out. But not before the Hutchinson Monarchs scored 9 runs on 5 hits, 2 errors, and 1 left on base. At the end of 4 innings of play, it is Hutchinson Monarchs 9 and the Newton Rebels 2, and we'll be right back. And we welcome you back to Newton Rebels baseball as we go to the top half of the fifth inning. And we're going to have a new pitcher now for the Hutchinson Monarchs. And I'll give you the final numbers here for Ryan Schooley. Schooley goes 4 innings. Gives up 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 1 base on balls as he faced 17 batters. And the first batter that Fortenberry will be facing will be the left fielder, number 13, Darius Gaston.
Still a lot of game, Frank. And you just have to get some runs going. Get a couple here, and there. You got to figure out how to hold these guys. That's the big key thing that Coach Clark's got to figure out.
Ball hit to the third baseman. Third baseman comes up with it after 2 bounces. That's Callahan. He goes over to Rent for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out. And the play goes 5-3 on the putout. It's going to bring up the second baseman, number 2, Jack Sigras.
And pitchers love that. They come into the game and the first pitch, sometimes I'd say take one. If you have confidence in yourself, you could take one and make this guy work. He just got in the game.
Sigras started off the ball game with a double and did score a run on another double. And he grounded out to the shortstop his third, in the third inning, that is, his second time at the plate. This is his third time up. First pitch was a ball. This one missing outside for ball 2. 2-0 to count now to Jack Sigras. We are in the top half of the fifth inning. The score 9-2 in favor of Hutchinson as they scored 9 runs in the bottom half of the fourth. A swing and a miss there by Sigras. And the count now goes to 2 balls, 1 strike.
And I'm trying to watch how they're working Sigras right now because they were outside and they kind of came right down the middle. And you can just watch because they know he can go to the right side. He does a good job out there.
Here's Fortenberry's pitch missing high and outside for ball 3. 3-1 now the count. Okay, you're listening and watching Newton Rebels baseball. Top half of the fifth inning. That one fouled off by Sigras.
See right there, they came inside on him right there.
That will take the count to full now at 3-2.
We are asking all foul balls, please be returned to the concession stand. Thank you.
We got 24 people watching. We want to welcome you to Newton Rebels baseball. We hope you're enjoying the action. That one missing outside, so Sigras will be on at first base with a base on balls as Fortenberry records his first base on balls here in the ball game. It's going to bring up the shortstop, number 1, Andrew Brotman.
And speaking about Fortenberry, 6 foot, 200 pounds from LSU Shreveport. It's a good program down there that they have down there.
First pitch, swing and a miss there by Andrew Brotman.
But the whole thing about it, Frank, we can't get a 7-run home run on one swing. We need runners. We need to keep getting runners and have our big inning. Or even, like I said, a couple. Just get back into the game a little.
Well, the Rebels have done a good job of that the last 4 games. That one missing high for ball 1. So the count now goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. Sigras is on at first base as he just walked. We do have 1 down here in the top half of the fifth inning. That one fouled off by Brotman. So that will take the count now to 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I do like seeing the view up here, just kind of seeing the hitters and what they do. Because, you see everything level pretty much. When you're up here, you're right on top of them almost.
So 1-2 the count, and here's the pitch. Swing and a miss there by Brotman as he goes down swinging. And Fortenberry records his first strikeout of the ball game. That is the second out of the inning. It's going to bring up the first baseman, number 21, Lincoln Andrews. Andrews is 2 for 2 here in the ball game as he got a double in the first inning. Scored a scored a run and an RBI. Also had a base hit in the third inning. Was thrown out at home plate on that double by Martinez. First pitch to Andrews is called strike one, so the count, no balls, one strike.
And I like that take right there. That wasn't his pitch. It's off speed.
Here's Fortenberry's pitch. That one missing outside for ball one. Even up the count now at 1 ball, 1 strike.
Frank, did you ever have trouble meaning the lefty on lefty, the righty? Right. I mean, what was your view on that?
Well, of course, the advantage is if you're right-handed facing a left-handed batter, they always say the percentages are on your favor. But in fast pitch, what I used to play, you usually had nothing but right-handed pitchers, so that's usually what we faced. The count is 2 balls, 1 strike now. That one missing inside for ball 3. Did you ever play fast pitch softball?
Oh, yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you? Okay.
No, yeah.
Who'd you play for?
Well, our buddy Doug Chance. I played years with him, and then
What team was it?
Aztecas. I played with them years ago.
That one missing high for ball 4. So Lincoln Andrews is on with another base on balls. That's the second base on balls given up by Fortenberry. Sigris will move over to second base. And that will bring up the catcher number 23, Joey Martinez. Well, I played for the Wichita Aztecas also.
Yeah.
Louis Ramirez was our
Louis.
coach.
Well, see, we probably played together, Frank. We didn't even know it back then, you know.
Well, I don't
I
don't think so. I played from 1972
Frank, you're telling your
to,
age here, Frank. Remember
yeah,
that.
I know.
You
I played from 1972 till about, I played for about 17 years, so whatever that is.
No neck?
Yeah, I
Remember
know
that? Yeah,
that.
see, I played.
Remember that.
And I played some tournaments. That's what I did. And then,
okay.
and I also played with a group of guys out of Winfield, Kansas. That's where I first, from Ark City. And the Tapias down there, and a good family. And got to play. I love the fast pitch game, obviously.
Yeah, well, then you probably knew Bubba Sanchez.
Yeah, yeah.
Buster Sanchez, I mean.
Buster.
I said Bubba. Buster.
And, of course, going to Newton for the tournaments.
Yeah, Newton always had a good Mexican-American tournament going on. As a matter of fact, they're going to have one again here July 4th this weekend. That one missing, or in there for strike one to Joey Martinez.
I hope the fans don't, they don't mind us going down memory lane here because there's some good times back then. And like I said, the fast pitch game is so fun. It's fast.
It was a lot of fun. All right, the count is no balls, 1 strike. In there for call strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes now to Martinez. As there is now runners on at first and second. Sigurd standing at second, Andrews at first. We do have 2 down here in the top half of the 5th inning. If you just join us, the score 9-2 in favor of Hutchinson. That one fouled off by Martinez. Martinez has had a hot bat for the Newton Rebels the last 4 or 5 ball games.
You know, I'm surprised. Look at the left fielder right here. He's pretty far in. I mean, Martinez has some good power. He just catches it out there, gets that barrel out there.
Yeah, he hit one over the fence in Newton. Does have some power. Here's the pitch. That one missing outside, so the count will go to 1 ball, 2 strikes. To Joey Martinez, who's catching this evening for the Newton Rebels.
And when you're playing that far up, you have a lot of confidence that you can go back.
Swing and a miss there by Martinez. That was way inside, and he went after it for the 3rd out. So Fortenberry records his 2nd strikeout of the ball game, and that is the 3rd out of the inning. The top half of the 5th inning for the Newton Rebels, they scored no runs on no hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. At the end of 4.5 innings of play, it is the Hutchinson Monarchs 9 and the Newton Rebels 2, and we'll be right back. And we welcome you back to Newton Rebels Baseball as we go to the bottom half of the fifth inning. We're going to have a new pitcher now for the Newton Rebels. It is number 41, Josh Flack, and it's going to be the first time that he has appeared as a Rebel.
Yeah, 6'1". He's from Shawnee, Kansas. 6'1", 210, right-hander, junior from Kansas State.
And we'll give you the final numbers here for Jordan Bolt Jackson. He went 1/3 of an inning, gave up 1 hit, 2 runs, 2 base on balls as he faced 4 batters. And Bechtel ended up those 2 runs that were charged to him, so he gave up 7 runs total. So Josh Flack now coming in to pitch for the Newton Rebels as we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. The first batter he'll be facing will be the catcher, number 14, Garrett Stevens. Stevens struck out his first time and flew out to left field at his second time at bat in the 4th inning. Once again, we are in the bottom half of the 5th inning. 9-2 is the score. Here's Flack's first pitch, missing high for ball 1.
And Frank, here's something you usually don't see. A pitcher getting taken out, and look at Bolt Jackson. He's back out there in the bullpen working on something.
Swing and a miss there by Garrett Stevens. So that will even up the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, and look who's catching for him. Ibiki Uchi, I believe.
Yes, it is.
And he's telling him exactly what he's doing wrong there. That's great teamwork there. I know Uchi is one of the team favorites. He's very, even though he doesn't speak the language, he will try to talk to you by sign language and tell you exactly what to do. And I know I've had many conversations when that ball hit to the right-hand side, going to be out of play. The count stays at 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I saw Keenan Moore yesterday, his teammate, and he was telling. He said, "Yeah, he's like the first guy out there, the last guy out there. He's always working hard and."
And he's another one that always has a smile on his face. So.
I know it. He does.
That one hit to the third baseman. Third baseman Ross comes in, goes over to first for out number 1. So a 5-3 put out for the first out.
I like how Ross got his momentum going, and as he was coming through the ball, and he doesn't have a very strong arm. I mean, not a real strong arm, but he's got everything behind it.
It's going to bring up the first baseman, number 25, Easton Rent. Rent grounded out to the pitcher in his first time at the plate in the 2nd inning. And then he reached on an error. That little grounder to the first baseman that was not able to come up with. That swing and a miss there by Rent. The count goes to no balls, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom half of the 5th. 9-2 is the score in favor of Hutchinson.
Yeah, Flack had something on that pitch right there. Right by him.
That one hit hard into left center field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. As center fielder Kasane moves to his right, throws it in, so keeps Rent at first base. And Rent records his first hit of the ball game. It's going to bring up the right fielder, number 19, Kobe Ketcher. Ketcher grounded out to the first base, to the pitcher, that is, in the 3rd inning. And then he reached on a base on balls in the 4th and ended up scoring a run in that 9-run inning in the bottom half of the 4th inning. That one popped up back behind home plate. Not sure if it's going to be out of play or not.
No win.
Martinez hustling down, trying to get that. Not able to get to it.
Boy, he covered a lot of room down there.
He sure did. He went from directly back behind home plate, clear to the third base dugout area. With that wind really blowing out. I'll show you the flag here real quick.
It's definitely not slowing down, is it, Frank?
You can see that flag going straight out. And we'll go back to action here. It's count as no balls, 1 strike. Boy, I sure miss my cameraman, Kevin Pouch.
Yeah, I was watching. I looked at it. He did a great job. He might have a future, I think, as a camera guy, And
Kevin Pouch, one of our sponsors from Pouch Enterprise.
He's a pretty talented guy. He does a lot of things for us.
That one fouled off by catcher. It reminds me I need to get my sheet for the sponsors so I can make sure we hit all our sponsors here tonight. Do that here in just a second.
We definitely appreciate them.
Count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Covey catcher. As we have 1 down, runner on at first base. As Rent just got a base hit in the left center field. That one missing low for ball 2. That got away from Martinez, but able to keep the ball rolling towards first base and stayed in front of it. So the count now goes to 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And one thing we need to do is find a little more about, Flack. He obviously been on the roster. It's the first time we've seen him. And we'll get with Coach Clark and talk to him about what he might, why he just came out now. That's what I'm saying.
That one fouled off by catcher.
Because it looks like he has a really good live arm.
2-2 the count.
I think the Rebels are still trying to put everything together. I mean, especially the bullpen. Wouldn't you say? I mean, that's the biggest.
That's been one of the biggest things that they've been working on. That's for sure. They got the bats. They're swinging a miss there by catcher as he goes down swinging for the second out of the inning and the first strikeout by Flack.
And I think the other thing is just consistency on the offensive end. You have a few hitters, handful of hitters, and just trying to figure out the other ones. And I know you and I were talking about it when we were playing the seeds about the league, how tough it is. I think it's a better pitching league this year than it was last year.
Yeah, it definitely is. Count is 1 ball, no strikes now to Braden Whitchurch, the center fielder. And there's Flack's pitch missing high inside for ball 2. 2-0 the count. 2 down here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. And Josh Flack's pitch. That one in there for call strike 1. So the count will go now to 2 balls and 1 strike.
And the toughest thing, Frank, I mean, is just that, and this year and any other year, we don't know anything a lot about these guys because they didn't finish their spring. We usually have stats on them. We all know, they're all conference or whatever they do. We have nothing on that. They played back in March.
That one missing low for ball 3.
When was the last time they threw? What have they been? We do not know that. Coach Clark, they could tell Coach Clark, yeah, I've been working out, but you don't know until they get here.
So the count is 3 balls, 1 strike to Brayton Whitchurch, center fielder. That one a swing and a miss there by Whitchurch, and that will take the count to full at 3-2. Rent at first base will be taken off as we do have a full count with 2 down here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. We're in Hutchinson, Kansas, as your Newton Rebels are down 9-2. That one fouled off to the right-hand side, going to be out of play. The Newton Rebels are looking for the first victory over Hutchinson this year, as we're all playing 4-game series, and they end up losing the first 3 games.
Yeah.
So they're looking to at least get 1 here.
And I think only one of the games, the 6-4 game, was the only one that was close.
So here comes the full count again. That ball hit up the middle. Looks like the second baseman took the ball.
Yeah, that was a tough play right there.
It was a very tough play there for Sigris. I thought Brotman was going to get it, since he was hitting more towards right field or towards first base. But
right, his momentum was taking him that way.
Yeah. So that's Whitchurch is going to be in with his second hit of the ball game, and that puts Rent at second base now, and Whitchurch at first. Going to bring up the second baseman, number 16, Anthony Mckenzie. Mckenzie is 1 for 3 here in the ball game. That one called strike 1 right on the outside corner. So the count is no balls and 1 strike. Batting .428 for the Monarchs. And here's Flack's pitch missing outside. And Martinez lost it for just a second. He was dancing right over the ball and just right underneath his feet.
Yeah, Martinez is working hard.
Yes, he is. The count will go to 1 ball, 1 strike. Now to Anthony Mckenzie. That one missing outside, and the count will go now to 2 balls, 1 strike. Runners on at first and second with 2 down here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. That one missing high for ball 3, so 3-1 now the count.
Yeah, and you look at him, McKenzie's what we've seen, very patient. You know, he, like that first at bat, 11 pitches, and he fouled them off. You know, it was a tough out.
Well, I was hoping he'd get McKenzie out here so that way my scorecard would at least look decent. There's a swing and a miss there by McKenzie, and that will take the count to full now at 3-2.
And that was a good cut. I mean, that was right there. That was a fastball right down his spot right there. He just, you know, just missed it.
So with runners on at first and second and 2 down, both runners would be taken off on the pitch. And here's Flack's pitch. A swing and a miss there by McKenzie, and Flack strikes out McKenzie for the 3rd out. So the bottom half of the 5th inning for the Hutchinson Monarchs, they scored no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. At the end of 5 innings of play, it is the Hutchinson Monarchs 9 and the Newton Rebels 2, and we'll be right back. And we welcome you back to Newton Rebels baseball as we go to the top half of the 6th inning. Leading off for the Newton Rebels will be the designated hitter number 17, Enzo Bonventry. The score is 9-2 in favor of the Hutchinson Monarchs. The Newton Rebels scored 2 runs in the top half of the 1st inning, and it went scoreless until the bottom half of the 4th inning where the Hutchinson Monarchs scored 9 runs to make it 9-2. So you're now caught up on all the scoring here in the ball game. The Boom Bonventry is up, and pitching is Joshua Fortenberry, starting his 2nd inning of work. Count is 2-0 now to Bonventry, as the Newton Rebels are looking to get back into this ball game, being down 9-2.
Just get something going.
That one hit in the outside corner for strike 1. 2 balls, 1 strike now to Bonventry.
And they have to think runners. I have to get on base. You get that going, then get the big hit, you're right back in it.
That one missing low and inside for ball 3. 3-1 now the count.
Because you think he has 7 runs, but let's just say you get a couple guys on base hit, you score 3 runs, whatever, you can get right back into this game. And they've scored some.
A hard hit ball there by Bonventry. That's going to be in left center field. That's going to be in for extra bases. Nice finally picking the ball up in center field is Whitchurch. And Enzo the Boom Bonventry is in with a stand-up double. His 2nd hit of the ball game.
He's a strong young man, and I tell you, when he gets that barrel out there on that ball, he just drives it. I mean, if you notice his hits, I mean, they just carry right out to the outfield to the fence right there, especially with that wind.
Bonventry had a base hit in the 1st inning, took a walk in the 4th inning, and now he's on with his 2nd hit of the ball game. It's going to bring up the right fielder, number 30, Ricky Hockett. First pitch is called strike one to Hockett. Hockett hit a shot back to the pitcher in the first inning. Then had a sacrifice bunt to move Bonventry over, who had taken a walk in the fourth inning.
And I think Ricky's another guy that's still trying to get his reps in because we just picked him up a week ago too. Also,
yep.
Frank, yeah.
So the count is 1-1 now to Hockett. Hard hit ball down the line. That's going to be in for fair. That is going to be extra bases as Bonventry rounds third base and is coming in to score. That ball gets away from the second baseman, but the first baseman backing up. So Hockett will be in with a stand-up double and an RBI for Ricky Hockett.
There you go. Keep battling now. Keep battling.
So Bonventry scores from second base. Now makes the score 9-3 in favor of Hutchinson. And it's going to bring up the third baseman, number 3, Lachlan Ross. Ross is up there with Hockett on at second base and no outs here in the top half of the sixth inning. First pitch to Ross is outside for ball one.
Yeah, let's see Ross get on. It could be making of a big inning.
Throw back to second base. In safely is Hockett.
See, and that's one thing that, that like I said, the Rebels trying to keep runners. What they're doing right now to keep our runners back.
And here's Fortenberry's pitch. That one missing outside for ball two.
I notice they've been, like I said, they pitch a lot of hitters away. With Ross, it's been extremely over that way. It's like they dare him to go ahead and go that way, which he does. He'll go that way.
So the count is 2-0 now to Lachlan Ross with a runner on at second base and no outs. That one in the inside corner for strike one.
Away, in.
2 balls, 1 strike now to Ross. As the Newton Rebels have scored 1 run here in the top half of the sixth, have a runner on at second base with no outs. Breaking ball missing inside. 3-1 now the count.
Okay, and Ross, if he come, like I said, if it's not there, let it go. Maybe gets on with a walk.
It's got to be one pitch.
Right.
That one missing outside for ball 4. So Ross will be on with a base on balls. So now we'll have runners on at first and second, and here comes pitching coach for the Hutchinson Monarchs. Come out to talk to Fortenberry. There is somebody warming up out on the left field side.
And Easton Herring's our pitching coach. He's an ex-Rebel. He played for the Rebels a couple years ago. And it's always good to see him. We talked during the 3-game series before. He's a good guy. Played at Newman University, and now he's here as a pitching coach for the Hutch Monarchs.
Looks like out there warming up for Hutchinson is number 35, Cade Becker. And pitching coach is waiting till the home plate umpire gets in that circle before he steps out and walks back to the dugout. Give him just a little bit more time to talk. So the Newton Rebels have runners on at first and second here in the top half of the sixth inning. They've already scored 1 run, and the score 9-3 now in favor of Hutchinson. But the Rebels have guys in scoring position with no outs. Coming up the bat is the center fielder, number 14, Sam Kasane. Kasane, I would imagine, would be bunting, and he does square around. That one missing high and outside for ball 1.
If you notice, that first baseman's really crashing. So if he can if he's going to do the bunt, put it right down, right at the third baseman.
And he's going to have to make sure he gets her down, because if the runners are taken off, it could be very easily doubled up here. Here's the pitch. That one is bunted towards the third base side. Pitcher picks it up, goes to first, and he gets him just in time.
That's a good play.
Good play with the second baseman covering there for that's Mckenzie.
But I thought Fortenberry showed some athleticism right there. He's a big guy, and he got right off there, made a turn, perfect throw.
So a sacrifice play there by Kasane. Moves runners over to second and third. Hockett now at third base, Ross at second. And they'll bring up the left fielder, number 13, Darius Gaston. And Gaston also has a lot of speed here. That one missing outside for ball one.
And it's very important for Gaston because you look who's up next. Sigris. So, I mean, the lead top of the lineup.
Well, this has been one of the Achilles heels for the Newton Rebels, having guys in scoring position and not being able to get them across in a lot of ball games this year.
But that's how you get
at least 4 or 5 games
yeah,
anyway.
I was going to say we kind of lost count after a while, but
that one fouled off by Gaston, so that will even up the count at 1 ball, 1 strike.
And if somebody actually asked me about it yesterday, so what do you do when you really don't change your swing? You just get a good pitch to hit. And I think a lot of guys are changing their swing. The pressure's on the pitcher, and you got to remember that.
That one missing inside for ball 2. 2-1 now the count to Darius Gaston. Once again, runners on at second and third with 1 down.
And they're playing in medium range out there, so they're not exactly giving it up.
Swing and a miss there by Gaston, as that one was just a little bit outside. And the count will even up now at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Usually, a lot of times in this situation, you usually play back because you can just let them have 1 run. But they're not. They're saying, hey, we're going to still. They're still, I mean, you could probably still get a double play maybe.
That one inside for ball 3, so the count will go full now at 3-2.
Though he'd be a hard guy to double up.
Yes, he would be a hard guy to double up. Up next would be Jack Sigris. And here's Fortenberry's pitch. That one popped up.
Maybe drop in. Nope.
Center fielder looks like he's going to take charge of it. Makes the catch and no tag at third base, as that was short center field. Short right center field, I should say. So Gaston is out. And then we'll bring up the second baseman, number 2, Jack Sigris. Sigris is 1 for 2 here in the ball game, as he had that double in the first, grounded out to the shortstop in the third, and had a base on balls in the 5th inning. So 2 down now here in the top half of the 6th, with the runners on at second and third. That one right down the pipe for strike 1.
And it's tough because the strategy that Coach Clark's thinking, bunt him over, try to get 2 runs, try to make it a 9-5 game. You're right back in it. But it's like the strategy sometimes. We'll see if it works right here.
That one missing high for ball 1. So the count will even up now at 1 ball, 1 strike. To second baseman Jack Sigris for your Newton Rebels. Joshua Fortenberry's pitch. That one low for ball 2. 2-1 now the count. And here's the pitch. A breaking ball in there called strike 2, as Sigris was fooled just a little bit.
But that's a good pitch to lay off of, though.
So we have deuces wild now, as we have number 2 up at the bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs.
They just go, we call it battle mode. Get in the battle mode, 2 strikes.
That one fouled off by Sigris. So the count stays at 2-2.
And a lot of times you could sit there and foul, battle, and you get your pitch. Then you get your pitch and base hit.
Well, the Rebels need to do something here with runners in scoring position to get back in the ball game, as they're down 9-3 right now in the top half of the 6th inning. And Sigris calls timeout as he steps out of the batter's box. Again, the Rebels have scored 1 run here in the top half of the 6th. That one hit to the right-hand side. That's going to fall in for a base hit. 1 run will score, and going to be held up at third base as Lachlan Ross will be standing at third base. One run has been come across. Now takes the score to 9-4. And Sigris is on at first base. And we're going to have a pitching change now.
We'll see who it is.
For the Hutchinson Monarchs.
Cade Becker. Cade Becker, big right-hander, 6'5", 250. Washburn University, another Wichita, Kansas kid.
Are you seeing that correctly? 250?
250.
Because I'm showing 6'5", 200 over here. He's gained some weight.
Let's say it's Carp over here. 250 or 200, Carp? Okay. He doesn't know. So, I mean, it's...
Okay. So, we got a new pitcher now for the Hutchinson Monarchs. And that is number 35, Cade Becker.
Thank you to South Hutch Storage for sponsoring the Monarchs bullpen. South Hutch Storage.
So Cade Becker coming in. I'll try to give you some stats here for Joshua Fortenberry. Looks like final stats. He went 1 2/3 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 3 base on balls, 2 strikeouts as he faced 11 batters. And the 2 runners on base are going to be charged to Fortenberry if they happen to score.
Yeah, Frank, if he's 250, I'm you know, at 200, whatever. If he's 200, I'm 200
Let's
too.
sit down for a second
Okay.
here, Carv.
I'm 200 also, okay? Yeah, Frank and I we've been standing all this time. The windows are kind of up, so you have to.
Yeah, we can see the field great, but we can't
Yeah.
see home plate.
And we're not as smart as Steve Carpenter over there, who's sitting in a high chair. So he's seen many games. He knows what, he's an experienced journalist. All right, here we go.
So now batting for the Newton Rebels is the shortstop number 1, Andrew Brotman. We have a runner on at third base, which is Ross. Was held up at third base. Sigris is on at first base as we have 2 down. And here's Becker's first pitch. And that is ball 1.
Yeah, definitely be nice to get
2-0 down the count.
Sigris over to second base somehow.
2-0 down the count to Andrew Brotman. Brotman hit the ball to first base unassisted the first time up. That one popped up in the infield. Actually, it might be the right field. The second baseman moving over, and he misses the ball as it went off his glove. That will be an error, I believe. And another run scores as Lachlan Ross scores from third base. Moving all the way to third base is Jack Sigris.
And Sigris was running hard. I like that. He was.
So Brotman will end up at first base.
Yeah, and that's a tough play, but, I thought he should have had it, Frank, right there. He was right there.
So the count, Brotman is on at first base. That brings up the first baseman, number 21, Lincoln Andrews. Another run scores, now makes the score 9-5 in favor of Hutchinson, as the Rebels have scored 3 runs here in the 6th inning. That one called strike 1, so the count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike now to Lincoln Andrews. Andrews is 2 for 2 here in the ball game, as he got a double and a single, and then he walked his last time up. That one hit into right field. That's going to be gone. That is a home run by number 21, Lincoln Andrews. A 3-run home run for Lincoln Andrews I wasn't sure if that was gone or
Wow.
not. I kind of lost track of it.
But kind of look from here, it just looks like a pop-up, but it's all but he had something behind that.
So a 3-run home run there by Lincoln Andrews.
Again, anything can happen.
And now
anything can happen in
the
this
Newton
ballpark.
Rebels have scored 6 runs here in the top half of the 6th inning to make the score 9-8 in favor of Hutchinson. A home run, 3 RBIs. And Lincoln Andrews is a triple. I'm sorry, he's got a double, a single, and a home run so far. It's going to bring up the catcher, number 23, Joey Martinez.
And that just shows, I mean, what you and I have been talking about, they don't give up. They don't give up. I mean, they give up a lot of runs and some questionable play, but they stay in these games.
That one in there for strike 1, so the count goes to 2 balls, 1 strike now to Martinez.
It's a young team. The Rebels have a young team, and
3-1 now the count to Martinez.
but Frank,
This is the 9th batter up for the Newton Rebels in this inning.
They're getting experience, though. They're very much getting experience, and
here's Becker's pitch. That one missing for ball 4. So Joey Martinez will be on at first base now as the 10th batter comes up for the Newton Rebels this inning.
and you gladly messed up Frank's scorecard there, because now he's got to go to another, right?
This is going to bring up the designated hitter, number 17, Enzo the Boom Bonventry. Bonventry had a double his last time up and scored a run.
Oh, Enzo took a good cut there, Frank.
Matter of fact, he's the one that started this whole thing off.
Did he? Yeah, that's a long time ago, it seems.
Yeah, it does seem like a long time ago. As the Newton Rebels have scored 6 runs here, they have out-hit Hudson Monarchs 10-8 so far. Count is 1 ball, 1 strike now to Bonventry. Need to move in just a little bit there.
Sorry.
There you go. Want to see that?
They want to see you, Frank.
Want to see that mug of yours? That one missing outside for ball 2. 2-1 now the count.
Getting all excited here, I'm just all over the place here. So I mean,
Well,
great comeback.
I appreciate you sitting down because I was getting a little tired standing up.
Oh, big cut.
Big cut there by Bonventry. The count will go even now at 2 balls, 2 strikes. We have a runner on at first base with 2 down here in the top half of the 6th inning. 9-8 is the score in favor of Hutchinson as your Rebels have scored 6 runs here in the top half of 6.
Whoa.
Did that hit him?
Yeah, it hit him.
I think it did hit him, so Bonventry will be
But
on at first base.
he's not affected by it.
And Martinez will move over to second base. And coming up will be the right fielder, number 30, Ricky Hockett.
Yeah, I'm just trying to check and see how he is. Doesn't have his helmet. He left his helmet back there.
So coming up will be Hockett. Hockett had a double in this inning and has 1 RBI.
Yeah, let's see Huck get another one right here.
First pitch in there for call, strike 1. We're not able to see home plate. I'm going to look over here on the monitor so I can see exactly what's going on.
I can barely see.
You can barely see. I
can
can't.
see him just looking
So
over
you
there.
must be taller than me. I thought you were standing on the chair when we were standing up to make yourself taller.
That's right.
That one hit hard into left center field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Rounding third base, and here comes the throw to home. That's going to be close. He's going to be out at home plate. What a throw there once again by the left fielder for Hutchinson. That's Chadwick. That's the second time that a runner has been thrown out at home plate. So Hockett records a base hit. And an 8-2, or I'm sorry, 7-2 put out for the third out. but not before the Newton Rebels scores 6 runs in this inning on 5 hits. And there is now 2 errors and 2 left on base. So at the end of 5.5 innings of play, it is the Hutchinson Monarchs 9 and the Newton Rebels 8. And we'll be right back. And we welcome you back to Newton Rebels baseball as we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. The score is 9-8 in favor of Hutchinson. Coming out for his 2nd inning of work will be Josh Flack.
And this is huge, Frank, right here, because what we talked about, remember we talked about shutdown inning?
Yep.
So you score, you have to shut them down. You got to give them that goose egg at 0. You can't let them score right here. You got to keep it a 1-run game.
Well, we'll see what Josh Flack is made out of here as we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Leading off for the Hutchinson Monarchs will be the left fielder, number 10, Clayton Chadwick. Chadwick struck out his first time in the first, got a double in the 4th inning, stole base, and then scored a run. And then also in the 4th inning, as he came up twice in that 4th inning, he got a base on balls and scored another run. So he scored 2 runs in that 9-run 4th inning for the Hutchinson Monarchs. No balls, 1 strike there to Chadwick. 0-2 now the count.
I'm trying to find a little more information on Josh Flack since this is our first time with.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So Josh Flack has an 0-2 count now to Clayton Chadwick.
He did play in Neosho County.
There you go. And here's the pitch. That one missing for ball 1, so the count will go to 1 ball, 2 strikes. To Clayton Chadwick, who has made some outstanding throws out in left field. That one hit hard to the left-hand side, down the 3rd base side, but it's going to be foul. So the count stays at 1 ball, 2 strikes. He has thrown out 2 runners at home here this evening. That one hit to the right-hand side. First baseman's going to have to make the play. Goes to the pitcher, not in time, as Chadwick has some great speed, so he'll be on with his 2nd hit of the ball game. A base hit will bring up the shortstop, number 9, Dylan Nedved.
Yeah, Frank, a little information on Flack. He committed to K-State back in January, so that's where he's going to go. But he was still in Neosho County right now, so for this spring, I mean. So
Martinez out there talking to Josh Flack. He's trying to get the situation, letting him know exactly what's going on.
Well, especially him being new here. They might have some of the signals, whatever, some of the things that they need to go over with them.
We do have a couple guys warming out in the bullpen for the Newton Rebels.
Can't tell the numbers right now.
Throw over to first base now is Chadwick back in time. That might be one of the things Martinez went out there and told him, said, whatever you do, hold this guy on because he'll take off on you. You can see that on that last play. That ball hits a line shot to the second baseman, goes to first for the double play. Great play there by Jack Sigris, as that was a line shot to Sigris. And right away he turned and fired over to first base as Chadwick was taken off, as you normally do on a hit like that. So a double play by the Newton Rebels. So F4 is here, and 4-3 double play.
You know, Nev, it's like one of those things, what did you do wrong? Nothing. I mean, you hit a line drive just right at somebody.
Going to bring up the designated hitter, number 18, Taylor Barber. That one fouled off, or swing and a miss, I should say. So the count is no balls, 1 strike. I'm going blind here. I'm just looking at the screen, trying to figure out what's going on.
You're doing a good job, Nev.
Since I can't see home plate.
You're doing a good job.
No balls, 1 strike now to Taylor Barber by Josh Flack. And here's the pitch. That one hit to the right-hand side. That may fall in for extra bases. It does go right inside the line as Hockett is rounding, trying to get that ball. And in with a triple is Taylor Barber, as Barber records his 2nd hit of the ball game.
You know, I was looking at that, and I was thinking it was going to go foul, but you also got that wind coming across too. So, but it's a triple.
So that's the 2nd hit by Barber, as he got a double, now a triple. So there'll be a runner on at third base with 2 outs, and now the batter is the third baseman, number 13, Austin Callahan.
How big is that double play?
Yes, it was very big.
Very big.
Very big. So 2 down, and here's the pitch. That one,
it's a ball.
Low for ball 1.
Yep.
Nice job by Martinez, stay in front of it. Tell you one thing about Hutchinson, they got a lot of speed. It just took off on the pitch and ended up at third base. That was Barber.
They utilize even their big guys. I mean, they got some big guys with speed, man.
That one in there for strike 1, so that will even up the count now to 1 ball, 1 strike. To Austin Callahan, as we are in the bottom half of the 6th inning. 9-8 is the score in favor of Hutchinson, but there is 2 down with a runner at third.
I mean, you look at Barber, he's 6'2", 225.
All strike 2 in there for Flack. So the count now goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. I'm going to move up here, see if I can see what's going on. That one hit into left field. Gaston gets under it, makes the catch for out number 3. So a fly out to left field for the 3rd out. Bottom half of the 6th inning for the Hutchinson Monarchs. They score no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. At the end of 6 innings of play, it is the Hutchinson Monarchs 9 and the Newton Rebels 8, and we'll be right back. And we welcome you back to Newton Rebels Baseball. This is Frank Martinez, joined along by General Manager Mark Carvalha. And now Carvalha hogging the camera once again.
No, not me. You know me. I'm a background guy.
We are in the top half of the 7th inning, as the score is the Hutchinson Monarchs 9 and the Newton Rebels 8. Leading off the, seventh inning, right?
Yes. Top.
This scorecard is all messed up because
Yeah, but hey, you're happy about that, aren't
all
you?
the runners,
'Cause-
yeah. Okay, top half of the seventh inning for the Newton Rebels. Leading off will be the third baseman, number 3, Lachlan Ross.
Like, see, Ross just do his thing. He usually gets on base somehow. I mean, uses that field.
Ross is 0 for 2 here this evening as he had a fly out to the first baseman. That one called strike 1, so the count is no balls and 1 strike. Flew out to right field and then reached on a base on balls and scored a run in the top half of the 6th inning as the Rebels scored 6 runs that inning. Count will even up now at 1 ball, 1 strike.
And more important, they got that shutdown inning that we talked about, Frank.
And here's Becker's pitch. That one hits foul along the third base side. So the count will go to 1 ball, 2 strikes. We do have somebody warming up out in the Monarchs bullpen. Also somebody warming up in the Rebels bullpen.
Zack Gillick.
I like the way they have the setup here. You can actually see who's warming up. For Newton, you got to look through the fans, through the dugouts.
Right, yeah.
It's just not set up very well. You can't tell who it is. That one hit into left field. Left fielder backing up is Chadwick. That's in deep, and I think that's off his glove. It is off his glove, so standing in at second base will be Lachlan Ross.
And it looked like they were just looking at each other at the time. And
yeah, Whitchurch was moving to his right. Chadwick was moving to his left, and Chadwick tried to make the catch, and it went off his glove. And that is the 3rd error by Hutchinson. And standing in at second base will be Lachlan Ross.
And that's uncharacteristic of Hutch because they're usually a very good defensive team.
It's going to bring up the center fielder, number 14, Sam Kasane. And with a runner on at second base, that may be another time for a sacrifice bunt, as Kasane did have a sacrifice the last time up. Here's the pitch by Becker. That one low for ball. That's a strike. Okay, sorry about that. Like I said, I can't see. And I just saw that the ball got away from the catcher there.
Just foul right there.
Okay. Count is no balls, 1 strike to Kasane. And here's Becker's pitch. Squared around a bunt, and that one hits into the ground.
Whoa.
But catcher Stevens was able to track it down, so Ross was not able to go anywhere at second base.
He's blocked some tough pitches.
So the count will go now to 1 ball, 1 strike.
Those catchers, I mean, that's the toughest position out there.
So Cade Becker ready to go. Here's the pitch. Bunt laid down the first base side. That's going to be a play made by the first baseman, Rent, as he tags him out.
He did his job.
And Ross moves over to third base on another sacrifice by Kasane. Unassisted at first base. So that will bring up the left fielder, number 13, Darius Gaston. Gaston, another speedster here for the Newton Rebels.
And the infield is in right now.
The infield is in because the tying run is now at third base. Gaston up. Ball, hard hit ball into left center field. That's going to be in for extra bases, and that may be off the wall. It is off the wall in left center field. Gaston's in with a double, and another run scored for the Newton Rebels as Ross comes across the home plate, and Gaston standing at second base with an RBI and a double as he records his first hit of the game. Left fielder never even moved on that, and the center fielder went hard to
and he's been
left
playing
center
in,
field.
and they were playing in on because before, if you remember, he couldn't get he hit a shadow fly ball that did not get the run in, and Gaston was, you could see him, he was mad at himself, and this time he made amends.
Yeah. Sure was. So the score now tied up at 9 apiece. And how about them Rebels? After being down, giving up 9 runs in the 4th inning, they have come back and scored 6 in the 6th inning and 1 here in the 7th inning to tie the ball game 9-9. We are going to have another pitching change for the Hutchinson Monarchs. And we'll see who it is here.
Trayton Randall. Trayton Randall is a right-handed pitcher, 6'2", 250, another Hutch JUCO kid from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Attention, please. Now pitching for the Monarchs, coming out of the South Hutch Storage bullpen, number 33, Trayton Randall.
Okay, so Trayton Randall is coming in to pitch now. And Kate Becker is done for the evening. I was trying to look what his number was. Number 33 is Trayton Randall. And it's showing he's 250. What do they do? Mark everybody down at 250?
I tell you.
Okay, we'll give you the final numbers for Mr. Becker. As he goes 2/3 of an inning, gives up 3 hits, 3 runs, 1 base on balls, and as he faced 8 batters. Once again, there is a runner on at second base that will be charged to him if the Newton Rebels can get him across. The score now tied up at 9 apiece as Darius Gaston just got a double and an RBI. So Gaston's on at second base with 1 down here in the top half of the 7th inning. It's going to bring up the second baseman, number 2, Jack Sigris.
Now Gaston's got to be smart right here. Yeah, they're playing him. They're trying to keep him close since he is the go-ahead.
Yes, he is, and he's got a lot of speed on that base path. And here's the pitch. First one is into the infield. That may be in for a base hit. No, they say they get him out there. That pit wasn't sure if the pitcher was just going to let that go or not. It went over his head and then finally fell down, and he saw that the shortstop was not going to be able to get to it. So the pitcher, Randall, finally got it, picked it up, went to first, and just in time as Darius Gaston moves over to third base on the play.
Yeah, that was a tough
and
play.
It is a 1-3. Yes, sure it was, because he had his back turned to the play there. So that's 2 down now.
His teammate right there. So, I mean, that's
Bring
a good
up
run.
the shortstop, number 1, Andrew Brotman.
Brotman just got a good pitch right here.
Brotman reached on a base on balls last time up. First pitch missing outside for ball 1.
And that's what we talked about. We've talked about, I have a relationship with talking to him about hitting, and I said you just need to learn patience. I love that he's aggressive, but you got to control it.
So we got a runner on at third base. Score still tied at 9 apiece now, as Rebels have scored 1 run here to tie it up here in the top half of the 7th inning. 2-0 now the count to Andrew Brotman. The go-ahead run is 90 feet away for the Newton Rebels. Showing a lot of heart here tonight as they were down 9-2. That pitch missing as the count now goes to 3 balls and no strikes to Andrew Brotman. Lincoln Andrews is on deck. We get that far. Once again, there is 2 down this inning.
So love to get him up the bat right now.
We need to move you in a little bit closer to the camera there, Carv. Can't see you. There we go.
Sorry, trying to.
That went in there for strike
watching
1.
the game here. I'm going around, trying to get a better view. I don't want to be right on there, but
yeah. So the count goes to 3 balls, 1 strike now. We had a lot of comments about the setup that we have. They like that you're able to see the action, but then also to see who is actually announcing the ball game. That one swing and a miss there by Brotman. And the count goes full now at 3-2.
That's not the same without our cameraman, Kevin Pouch, though. I mean, that's the only thing, that he did a good job. I was watching that yesterday. I mean, watch it today, a replay of it.
There we go. Full count. Here's the pitch. That one fouled off there by Brotman. Nice job hanging in there. Well, this concept was the thought of just me messing around with the camera and the program, and I was able to find that, and I thought, you know what, let's just put them on there.
Yeah, there you go.
Whether it's Chad Fry or myself, and you, Carv. Count is full now at 3-2. 2 down here in the top half of the seventh. That one fouled off by Brotman. The count stays full now.
I hope the people out there are enjoying this, especially, you got a lot of relatives out there that watch their kids and, their family.
We enjoy everybody coming on to YouTube and the Newton KS Rebels channel. That one popped up into the infield. Shortstop backing up. That's Nedved getting under it, making the catch for out number 3. But not before the Newton Rebels score 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left on base. At the end of 6.5 innings of play, the score of the Newton Rebels 9 and the Hutchinson Monarchs 9, and we'll be right back. And we welcome you back to Newton Rebels baseball as we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. The score tied up at 9 apiece. Once again, Frank Martinez, your play-by-play announcer, joined by Mark Kervala here this evening.
Quite a game.
And before I forget, I better do the sponsors or else I'm going to be in a lot of trouble, because we definitely want to announce our sponsors. We do have a new pitcher coming in. It looks like it's number 34. Zack Gillick is the new pitcher.
The catcher, Garrett Stevens.
Can you read those or not? Can you see them?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's introduce Mr. Gillick here first.
Yeah.
Coming in to pitch for the Newton Rebels, we have number 34, Zack Gillick. Gillick is a 6'2", 205-pounder, a redshirt freshman out of Valley Center, Kansas. So he'll be coming in to pitch. And I'll give you the final numbers on Josh Black. Here's Gillick's pitch. He'll be facing the catcher, number 14, Garrett Stevens. In between innings here, we'll do the sponsors, okay?
Sounds great. Very important.
First pitch is a ball to Stevens. Gillick pitched last night, I believe it was, and had a rough outing. That's the first time that I've seen him had a rough outing. He's one of the league-leading strikeout. Besides Mr. Bravo, count is 3-0 as Gillick can't find the home plate right now. And here's the pitch. That one in there across the knees for strike 1, so the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike.
So, yeah, he's been one of the main guys out of the bullpen. Whoa. But he sure didn't want to walk the leadoff hitter right now coming into the game in a tie game.
So Stevens will be on with the base on balls here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. It's going to bring up the first baseman, number 25, Easton Rent. Score tied up at 9 apiece. Like you say, definitely didn't want to get that first guy on. First pitch is fouled off there by Rent. And I'll give you the final numbers for Flack. He went 2 innings, gave up 4 hits, had 2 strikeouts as he faced 9 batters.
He definitely did his job.
For the first time out,
yeah, first time we've seen
they limited him to pitches, and he did a good job. There's a pitch by Gillick. That one called strike 2, so he hits the inside corner. So the count goes to no balls, 2 strikes by Gillick.
And it's good to see another arm in that bullpen there with Flack. Especially the program he came from, Neosho County. It's one of the best junior colleges.
That one missing high for ball 1. So the count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, they're showing Zach Bravo has 25 strikeouts leading the league. And Zack Gillick showing him at 20, but I have him at 21. There's one that he was not credited for. Because I'm kind of keeping track of that. Ball hits to the second baseman. Sigris touches the runner at second base and then goes to first base for the double play. What a great play there by Jack Sigris, as he had a heads-up play, was able to touch the runner as he was heading towards second, and then threw the ball across his body to the first baseman for a double play. That's the second double play by the Newton Rebels, and that is the 4th double play in the last 3 ball games.
But that was a beautiful play. I mean, he was off balance. His momentum was taking him towards, like, the pitcher's mound. He had to throw across his body, and he had to tag the runner. I mean, he had all this going on.
So that will bring up the right fielder, number 19, Kobe Ketcher.
Great.
Ketcher struck out his last time at the plate. And here's Gillick's pitch. That one outside for ball 2. 2-0 now the count. One thing that we noticed about Gillick last performance was he was getting behind on the batters, and he normally doesn't do that.
No, he usually comes right after you.
That one 3-0 now to Ketcher.
And he's a guy, I mean, and I know because I know he works, who his pitching coach that he worked with in the off season, during the break was Travis Downey, and he kept working with him, so I know he's in pretty good shape.
Well, how about it for the Rebels, as they have the 2 highest strikeout pitchers in the league?
Yeah, that's
like say Bravo at 25 and Gillick at 21. That one ball. So Ketcher will be moving over to first base on a base on balls.
Center fielder, Braden Whitchurch.
That's one thing right now. Gillick, just use your defense right there. They're working for you today.
It's going to bring up the center fielder, number 12, Braden Whitchurch, with a runner on at first base and 2 down on a great play there by Jack Sigris at second base to turn the double play. That first pitch called strike 1. So the count is no balls, 1 strike. Great time to get number 22 here in the books. Here's the pitch. That one missing outside for ball 1. So that will take the count now to 1 ball, 1 strike to Braden Whitchurch, center fielder for the Hutchinson Monarchs.
That's a tough play for a runner on first base. The ball right in front of you. Do you stop? Either getting a little rundown.
I think I thought he was going to be going there at first base. He was kind of leaning a little bit. Count is 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Whitchurch. I'm wondering how we're going to do this after Friday, because we're supposed to wear masks everywhere we go.
Oh, yeah.
And social distancing, you're 6 inches away from it. That's the only way we can get both of us on camera here, though. Count is 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Whitchurch. As Zack Gillick looking for that 3rd out of this inning. Here in the bottom half of the 7th inning, score tied up at 9 apiece. And Gillick steps off. Once again, Ketcher is on at first base as he just reached on a base on balls. We got 2-2 the count to Whitchurch, and here's the pitch. That one missing high for ball 3. So the count will go full now at 3-2. Ketcher will be taken off at first base with 2 down. Here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. This is always a dangerous time when they're taken off.
Plus, even if he walks him, he has a runner in scoring position. So
There goes catcher.
oh wow, all right,
Call strike three? Or was it
strike
swing?
three.
Strike three. So that is the third out of the inning.
Time to announce the winner of Monarchs 55th.
And the first strikeout by Gillick to take his totals to 22 for the season.
Yeah, he disagreed with it, but it was an inside fastball.
Okay, I didn't see that. So the count at bottom half of the seventh inning for the Hutchinson Monarchs, they scored no runs, no hits, no errors, and one left on base. At the end of 7 innings of play, the score tied up at 7 apiece. And Mark, why don't you do our
let's go through
sponsors
these
here?
right here. Our friends at Miller Insurance Agency, American Family Insurance, Ken Hall. Duty Work. They've been pretty involved, I'll tell you that.
They were sponsors one day.
Yeah, Conradi Insurance Group, Boston Insurance, Pouch Enterprises, and we know who the head guy there is.
Kevin Pouch.
That's right. Reality Connections, Store and Stuff, and U-Haul. So if you need any of that, you know where it is, right there in Newton. Roofing Services Unlimited, Shamrock Car Wash, Sean Penner, Peyton Powell, Attorneys at Law, and Chris Pate. We all know Chris Pate. Affordable Autos, Remax Associates of Newton, Tim Marler, and we know Tim, he was our first sponsor, first game. And then you have Carl Hodges, the legend. We'll be doing our MVP award at the end of the year. It'll be the Carl Hodges Award. He's the one who started all this, the Newton Rebels. Dr. Brett Ruffs, and then Oldham, John and Lori, very good friends of ours. Newton Cream, Bob Burke, buy local, and then Ray Roofing.
Okay, well, once again, we want to thank our sponsors and also like to thank our host families. I think you have a list there on the backside.
Yeah,
we can do this after that. This inning here.
And we should talk about them more because all that they do.
Okay, up to bat is Lincoln Andrews here in the top half of the 8th inning. Score tied up at 9 apiece as your Newton Rebels have come back and scored 7 runs after the Hutchinson Monarchs scored 9 runs in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Count is 2 balls, 1 strike now to Lincoln Andrews, first baseman for the Newton Rebels. Andrews is 3 for 3 here this evening. That one popped foul to the left-hand side, so that will even up the count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And here's Randall's pitch. Swing and a miss there by Lincoln Andrews, and he goes down swinging for out number 1.
That's his first time out.
It's going to bring up the catcher number 23, Joey Martinez. Martinez now the batter for the Newton Rebels. As we have 1 down here in the top half of the 8th inning. Score tied up at 9 apiece. We'd like to thank all those watching. Don't forget to comment and pass it on to make sure that we have more Rebels fans watching. And here's the pitch by Randall. Swing and a miss there by Martinez.
Yeah, Martinez took a great cut right there.
So the count goes to no balls, 1 strike. And here's Randall's pitch. That one called strike 2 on the inside corner as the count goes now to no balls and 2 strikes.
It's going to be interesting how Coach Clark and his coach staff, how they're going to patch the last, these couple innings.
That one missing outside for ball 1. 1-2 now the count.
With the pitchers.
To Joey Martinez. Nobody warming up out there for Newton, so maybe that one missing for ball 2. 2-2 now the count. So maybe Zack Gillick coming back out for the 8th inning. We'll see. That one fouled off there by Martinez.
But I'd probably like to see somebody warming up just in case, because Zach pitched. I don't know how many pitches he pitched yesterday. It's 30-something maybe, and
Yeah,
And
we'll see exactly what happens here. Count is 2-2. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss there by Martinez as he goes down swinging. That's the second strikeout of the ball game this inning, and the second strikeout for Randall. That will bring up the designated hitter, number 17, Enzo the Boom Bonventre. Bonventre got hit by a pitch the last time. He is 2 for 2 this evening. As he got a single in the first, walk in the fourth, a double in the sixth inning, and he scored a run. And he got hit by a pitch stranded at second base. Count is 1-1 now to Bonventre. As we have 2 down here in the top half of the 8th inning. Score tied up at 9 apiece. Here's Randall's pitch. That one missing for ball 2. 2-1 now the count to Enzo Bonventre.
So this should be a hitter's pitch right here. So let's see what Enzo does with it. It's right there.
You know, I'm here at the ballpark, but just watching it off the screen, there's a hard hit ball to the shortstop. Shortstop is going to be able to get to it. Goes to first for out number 3. That was Nedved to Rent for the third out. A 6-3 put out. At the top half of the 8th inning for the Newton Rebels, they scored no runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base at the end of 7.5. Score tied up at 9 apiece. I was going to say, I'm looking at it on the screen here, and now I know how those announcers that are not at actual ball games calling a ball game.
Right there.
Exactly how they do it now.
In Korea?
Yeah, well, we're exactly right. They're just watching the ball game on TV and calling the game. And like I say, not being able to see home plate here from where we're sitting at, I'm just looking on the screen here on our monitor and able to see it that way. So now I know how they do it. Let's go with the host families here, Carve.
And Frank, you and I both talk about this, how important the host families are. And Connie Miller, my gosh, what she does for all of us, you know, to help. She's... Oh man, she does a lot for the team and everything with the all the kids that she's hosted through the years. Joe Pedlow, Joe stepped up for us when we were in dire needs, and he's doing a great job for us. That's it. It's Michelle and Brent. I couldn't read that for a second. It's dark here.
Yeah,
Michelle and Brent Coffin, and I should know them because they've been doing it for years.
Well, why do you think I had you read it? Because I can't see in the dark.
Robin and Christopher Eshelman, Aaron Eshelman, who's one of the players. Tammy Schmidt, Chad and Joni Considine, and Zach Bravo. I mean, without you guys, I don't know what we would have done because I was a nervous wreck, you know, as a general manager trying to get people. And this year's it was the worst of ever just because of what's going on in the world.
Yeah, not only them, but how about all our volunteers that help us out at the ballpark?
Oh, yeah. No, it's
Taylor Elliott, Jim
at
the gate, and everybody
Max,
else. Yeah, everybody else that helps us out. Jim Bank. Bank that did our PA last night and then set up the cameras for us. Hard hit ball into right field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Coming up the bat was Mckenzie. And Mackenzie's got a lot of speed here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. So the first pitch, one pitch to Mckenzie. But once again, thanks to all our sponsors and all our volunteers and interns and Terry Elliott. Taylor Elliott.
I know.
Terry Elliott, yeah. Terry Elliott, the Hall of Famer.
That's right.
Okay, so we have a runner on at first base as Mckenzie got on with a base hit. We'll bring up the left fielder, number 10, Clayton Chadwick. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell Terry Elliott that he owes me a drink for mentioning his name. Ball is bunted down the third base side. It's going to be foul as Clayton Chadwick is trying to sacrifice Mckenzie over to second base.
And when we're talking about that, one very special individual that stepped up is Robin Eshelman. She's been helping out, and she's doing the apparel. She's helping with the concessions. I mean, she's doing, the gate. So,
yeah, we definitely want to thank her. We appreciate her help. I think she's even helped carry out the stuff.
She lets us know if we're on also.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Exactly right. She lets us know whether we're on or not, and we really appreciate that because there's many times that we have no way of knowing, and we definitely want to put on a good show for you guys as far as the broadcast. So count is no balls, 1 strike. There's Gillick's pitch missing outside, so that will even up the count now at 1 ball, 1 strike. I look a little dark in the camera there. I'll try to get closer.
But Frank,
Like
there is
say, it's
somebody
dark down here.
in the bullpen. I don't know if you can see it.
No, I can't
Let's
because
see.
the light pole's right in my
Okay.
way. Count is 1 ball, 1 strike. Here goes Mckenzie to second base, and he's going to be in safely. I knew that was just a matter of time. That's a
Right.
stolen base there by Mckenzie.
That's our friend Steve Carpenter, if he can see him over there. Steve, you got any clue over there?
I think it's number 33 or
33.
yeah, it is. I think
Okay.
that's Chandler.
Or no, that's
Okay, 33. No, Henkelman.
that's
is-
Landwehr. Landwehr.
Oh,
Kyle
Landwehr, that's
yeah.
right. Yeah. Okay, that pitch. Call strike 2, so the count will go to 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mckenzie stole base. He's now standing on at second base with no outs here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. The score tied up at 9 apiece. The defense is going to have to stand up here for Newton. That hard hit ball into right field, that's going to be in for extra bases. That's off the wall by Chadwick. A run will score. And standing in at second base will be Clayton Chadwick with a double and an RBI. That ball was hit hard and was off the fence out in right field. So the score now is 10-9 in favor of the Hutchinson Monarchs. I will bring up the shortstop number 9, Dylan Nedved.
They have a runner in scoring position at second base with no outs.
With Hutchinson leading by 1, that's another insurance run for him. Standing at second base, and he's got a lot of speed. So Gillick, pitch, no pitch, he says. Okay. So Dylan Nedved up there at the plate. Here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. 10-9 to score in favor of Hutchinson. And here's Gillick's pitch. That one missing high for ball 1, so the count goes to 1 ball, no strike. We appreciate Steve Carpenter's help here this evening. Been very good host here in Hutchinson.
Yeah, Carp with the eagle eyes can see in that bullpen over there.
Count is 1 ball, no strike now to Nedved. And here's Gillick's pitch. That one missing for ball 2 inside, so the count will now go to 2 balls and no strikes. Runner on at second base, no outs.
So you don't know what kind of effect it has on, like Zack coming in there because he warmed up yesterday.
Is that intentional walk? Okay, intentional walk there, given up to Nedved after a 2-0 count.
What do you think about that, Frank? Now he's warmed up in the bullpen 2 days. He's throwing quite a few pitches. Hopefully he can suck it up and get out of this. Just that 1 run.
It's going to bring up the designated hitter number 18, Taylor Barber. Barber has 2 extra base hits the last 2 times at bat, a double and a triple. First pitch to Barber is ball 1. So 1-0 now the count, with the runners on at first and second, and no out here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. We definitely don't want any crooked numbers.
No, that's.
So let's see here what the Newton Rebels do. Gillick looking back, Chadwick. Ball hit to the third base side is going to be foul. So that will even up the count now at 1 ball, 1 strike.
It always cracks me up. I mean, I find it funny, I guess, but players through the years, they'd say, well, Coach, we had that 1 bad inning, we played well, but that 1 bad inning can hurt you. I mean, I guess,
it can definitely cost you the game.
It costs you the game, so you got to prevent the big inning, and that was always one of our goals that we always had printed up.
And here's Gillick's pitch. That one just missing outside for ball 2. 2-1 now the count. Right now, the line for the Newton Rebels is 9 runs on 12 hits and 2 errors. And for Hutchinson, 10 runs on 12 hits and 3 errors. And here's Gillick's pitch. That one called strike 2 as that hits the outside corner. So the count evens up now at 2 balls, 2 strikes. To designated hitter number 18, Taylor Barber.
Landwehr right now, he's picking it up a little.
Rebels need to get some outs here. There is none down here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. And Gillick steps off. Looks like he was taking a lot of time there. And Segrist comes in from second base to talk to him.
Talk about the looks.
So Segrist back to second base, and we're ready to go. As we have runners on at first and second, no outs. Count is 2 balls, 2 strikes to Barber.
Your middle infield, they need to come in and trying to step back in the second.
That one missing high for ball 3. So the count goes full now at 3-2. And this is the 3rd or 4th batter now that Gillick has taken the full count to here in the ball game since he came in the 7th inning. And that's not Gillick-wise. That one hit into left field, or center field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. That gets over the center fielder's head, and left fielder will make the play. But Barber is in with a base hit and another run score.
And that's the thing. The outfielders are playing so far back because of the wind. That ball just died. I mean, it looked like it was flying, floating out there and just died right in front of him.
So Barber ends up at second base with a double. Nedved ends up at third base, and Chadwick scores to make now the score 11-9, and that's going to be it for Mr. Gillick. We're going to have a new pitcher now for the Newton Rebels.
And it looks like it is Landwehr.
Okay, number 33, Kyle Landwehr will be coming in to pitch for the Newton Rebels.
He was a true freshman this year, this spring, at Fringe University, and it was early in the year, so he really didn't get many innings at all. But he's a guy that I've been impressed with also, Frank. He's stepped up and had some good outings.
So Kyle Landwehr, a 6'1", 170-pounder. Like I said, he's a freshman out of Fringe University. His hometown is Wichita, Kansas. He comes in to pitch now for the Newton Rebels. As the Monarchs have scored 2 runs off of 3 hits, and the Hutchinson Monarchs have taken a 11-9 lead here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. I'll give you Gillick's final numbers here. Of course, the 2 runners on base will be charged to Gillick if they do score. He went 1 inning, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 2 base on balls, 1 strikeout, as he faced 8 batters.
You know, Frank, and you think about our last 3 games, haven't they been similar? I mean, score-wise.
Yep.
I mean, it's been long games that. I remember last week we were playing. I think it was the Seeds. You and I were kidding around because we had 2-hour games.
Yeah. We had two back-to-back pitching duels.
Yeah, pitching duels.
Now every game that we've had for the last 2 or 3 times has been more than 12 hits per team, which is exciting, but you got to win the ball game.
Right.
Okay, so now batting is the third baseman, number 13, Austin Callahan. Runners on at second and third with no out still here in the bottom half of the 8th inning, as the Hutchinson Monarchs have scored 2 runs to take an 11-9 lead. And Kyle Landwehr is the new pitcher.
And he comes in a tough job and no outs. Infield's in, so he's trying to get the ground ball. Hopefully to an infielder.
And now Martinez goes out to talk to Landwehr.
Yeah, Hutch does a good job translating the signals, the catcher signals, who's ever on second base to the batter.
So Landwehr ready to go. Once again, runners on at second and third with no outs. Here in the bottom half of the eighth. 11-9 is the score. And here's Landwehr's pitch. The first one missing low for ball one. 1-0 now the count to Austin Callahan, the third baseman for the Hutchinson Monarchs. Breeze is still pretty heavy there.
Yeah.
As that flag is flying out towards left field. That one missing. For ball two. 2-0 now the count to Callahan. And here's Landwehr's pitch. That one in there for call strike one as the ball gets away from Martinez. Was able to track it down.
When you and I were at the in Derby watching Landwehr, remember all the movement he had? He had a lot of good movement, ball dropping, and for 2 innings he looked really good.
Yeah, we were able to sit right directly behind the net there. 2 balls, 1 strike now. That one missing outside for ball three. 3-1 now the count to Austin Callahan.
Yeah, I don't know if he does walk him. You got the bases loaded, and
3-1 count. Here's the pitch. That one missing for ball 4 inside. So Callahan will be on at first base with a base on balls.
The catcher, Garrett Stevens.
so it's going to be interesting to see what Coach Clark wants to do here.
So the bases will be full with Callahan at first, Barber at second, and Nedved at third. We'll bring up the catcher, number 14, Garrett Stevens. Stevens reached on a base on balls the last time. Grounded out to the third baseman. There's a hard hit ball to the second baseman. Second baseman makes the catch on the fly.
Wow.
A great diving catch there by Jack Sigris as he dove right behind the pitcher's mound, closer to the second base, and almost doubled up Nedved at third base. So we have 1 out. That's the second great play there by Jack Sigris here in the ball game so far. So we have 1 down, and now batting is the first baseman, number 25, Easton Rent. Infield still in with 1 down. That first pitch to Rent is called strike 1.
Basically, they're saying we can't allow another run right here is what they're saying.
Yep.
Instead of trying to turn 2, let's save the middle. Sometimes you do that, but
yeah, they could play back for the double play, but then if they lay 1 down, they're going to score. And just like you say, they can't afford to give up another run. Swing and a miss, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, for
swing and a miss.
0-2 now the count to Rent.
Landwehr needs to be, cautious of this pitch right here. Nothing too good around the zone.
Landwehr steps off. Now ready to go again. Once again, bases loaded with 1 down here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Here's his pitch. Swing and a miss there by Easton Rent. And that is the second out of the inning. So now the infield will be playing back. That's the first strikeout recorded by Kyle Landwehr.
And it's a pitch away. Like I said, he wasn't over the zone, and he went fishing for it, and great pitch by Landwehr.
So the infield will move back, and that will bring up the right fielder, number 19, Kobe Ketcher. Ketcher reached on a base on balls twice, struck out once, and hit right back to the pitcher. That ball gets away from the catcher, and another run scores, and he throws the ball away, but luckily first baseman Andrews is backing up. That's what I was just getting ready to say. If we can get out of this inning with allowing another run, and what happens? A wild pitch, and the ball gets away. So another run scores, now makes the score 12-9, and runners advance to second and third on that play. So Barber is now standing at the third base. Callahan at second. And 3 runs have been scored here in the bottom half of the 8th inning to make the score 12-9 in favor of Hutchinson. Count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike now to Kobe Catcher. Boy, those words were just getting ready to come out of my mouth when that ball got away. A swing and a miss there by Catcher. And the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Catcher was a catcher? I mean, that.
Ketcher is the way it's spelled. Count is 1-2. Here's the pitch. That one gets away from. Now another run will score as that got away from Martinez as it was into the ground, and that now takes the score to 13-9 as 2 ball pitches.
We need to.
Callahan moves over to third base on the play.
Need to get this last out.
All this with 2 down. Wow, he was doing such a great job. And with bases loaded, coming in with bases loaded, getting the 2 outs. Of course, it did take a great play by the second baseman to get that first out.
Well, think about, like I was saying about Callahan, where he has a lot of movement. So you don't know how much, we can't tell, Frank, where we're at right now. Half that ball is hitting the ground, and a tough play for the catcher.
Count goes full now at 3-2 to Kobe Catcher. And here's the pitch. That one missing for ball 4, so Catcher will be on at first base. Well, if it's any consolation, there would have been a 1 run scored anyway. On that walk. It's going to bring up the center fielder, number 12, Braden Whitchurch. But you just hate to give them up on pass balls or wild pitches.
Make them earn it. That's my key. I mean, what I've always told the players.
High for ball 1 to Whitchurch. This is the 9th batter in the inning. The second time in the ball game that the Hutchinson Monarchs have sent at least 9 batters. In the 4th inning, they sent 13 batters up. Count is 2-0 now.
But see, these long innings, man, it takes a toll on your fielders.
Whitchurch, yes.
Like I said, you're out there, and you've been there before, Frank. That long inning, you're just.
That one in there for call strike 1, so that will take the count now to 2 balls and 1 strike. As you can tell, we're in the dark here in the press box. So on your picture, I'm sure we're a little bit darker than normal. The runner advances to second base on the pitch. So now there'll be runners on at second and third. And the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. Runners on at second and third with 2 down.
Sorry, Frank. I was just going to say, as one of the strengths that Coach Clark thought would be his pitching.
Swing and a miss, and Martinez drops the ball, has to go to first, and does for the strikeout for the 3rd out of the inning. But not before the Hutchinson Monarchs score 4 runs on 3 hits. No errors and 2 left on base at the end of 8 innings of play. It is the Hutchinson Monarchs 13 and the Newton Rebels 9, and we'll be right back. And we welcome you back to Newton Rebels baseball as we go to the top half of the ninth inning. The score, the Hutchinson Monarchs 13 and the Newton Rebels 9. And we're going to have a new pitcher now for Hutchinson. The new pitcher will be number 20, Bryson Lucas.
Lucas, left-hander, 6'1", 180. Again, another Sam Houston State player. And so, like I said, they have that pipeline going right there, and they use these guys every year. They get quite a few of these guys through the years.
And that is the 5th pitcher used by Hutchinson tonight. I'll give you the numbers on Randall here in just a second. First batter up for the Newton Rebels will be number 30, Ricky Hockett, who's playing right field this evening. Hockett is 2 for 3 here tonight. So he's got a double and a single. That one called strike one, so the count will go to 1-1. Randall's total count is he went 1 2/3 innings, gave up no hits, no runs, no earned runs, no base on balls, 2 strikeouts, and as he faced 5 batters. The count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike now to Hockett as Lucas comes in to pitch in the 9th inning. 3-1 now the count, which is exactly what the Newton Rebels need. They need base runners.
Yeah.
As they are down 13-9 here in the top half of the 9th inning. That one missing high for ball 4. So now Hockett will be on at first base. And that will bring up the third baseman, number 3, Lachlan Ross.
Third baseman, Lachlan Ross.
So Ross this evening is looking for his first hit of the ball game. And here's the pitch by Lucas.
It's interesting. They keep pitching him away, and I've seen him going to the right side quite a bit, in those hits that he has.
Tonight, Ross has had a base on balls. Flew out to right field and flew out to the third baseman. Count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. So Ross is 0 for 3 as he's batting .393 for the season. He has a total of 6 RBIs so far here this season. Count 1-1. Here's the pitch. A swing and a miss there by Ross. Will take the count now to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ricky Hockett standing at first base with no out here in the top half of the 9th inning. Newton Rebels need at least 4 runs to tie the ball game up to go to the bottom half of the 9th. And they did exactly that the other night.
Right.
As A.J. Parcero hit a 3-run home run to take the lead. They needed 1 run to tie the game up and then scored 3 extra in the top half of the 9th. Check swing there by Ross.
The crowd didn't like that.
Nope. Thought that he might have went. So the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 now the count here in the top half of the 9th inning. That one fouled off by Ross. The count stays at 2-2. So far this evening, the Rebels have scored 9 runs on 12 hits and 2 errors. And the Hutchinson Monarchs have scored 13 runs on 13 hits and 3 errors. And here's the pitch. Call strike 3 as Lachlan Ross looked at that one go by for out number 1. So Lucas records his first strikeout of the ball game as he records the first out of the 9th inning. It's going to bring up the center fielder, number 14, Sam Kasane. Correction, we have a pinch hitter, number 44. That's Valario. Correction, not Valario.
That's Roger.
Roger Valoria. I knew that as soon as I said it, that was not correct. I was doing that on the top of my head there. So Roger Valoria, who is a 6 foot, 215 pounder from Marshalltown Community College. He's up to the plate.
But his hometown's Caracas,
Venezuela.
Venezuela.
So we welcome all the Valoria fans to the telecast. Want to know the count now to Valoria. That one
He's a solid.
takes the count to 1 ball, 1 strike.
So he's solidly built, 6 foot 215. He's pretty solid there, Frank. And he's only a freshman. So we'll see how his future is going to be.
And here's Lucas's pitch. Call strike 2 as that's right across the plate. We'll take the count now to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hawkins is on at first base with 1 down here in the top half of the 9th innings. The Rebels are down 13-9. Like to remind you that we will be in action tomorrow evening. Our game time tomorrow is 5 p.m. 5 p.m. as we are at X Stadium, as we are part of the Tuesday night Sunflower League showcase at the Eck. We'll not be broadcasting the play-by-play for you tomorrow off YouTube from the Rebels channel. There's a swing and a miss there by Valoria for the second out of the inning. Second strikeout by Lucas. But the Sunflower League will be showing the telecast on YouTube. Go to Sunflower League and you'll be able to see that and catch. KGSO will be broadcasting the game for you. I will be on the PA tomorrow evening for both games. If you don't know, the Sunflower League showcases the Sunflower League at the Eck as we broadcast 2 games, one at 5 and one at 7:30. So I will be your PA announcer for both those games. Once again, you can catch those on YouTube on Sunflower League.
And if you do come to the game, you got to make sure you wear your mask. That's one thing at X Stadium.
That is correct. I was just getting ready to say that. Don't forget your mask if you do go to X Stadium, because it is a requirement that you do wear a mask at the stadium. Count is 1 ball, 1 strike. That one missing low for ball 2. 2-1 now the count to Darius Gaston.
I wonder how the players are feeling right now, because they've been playing like almost every day, and especially like this. This was supposed to be a day off, but we had to.
That one in there, call strike.
Inside.
So that will even up the count now at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hockett is on at first base with 2 down here in the top half of the 9th inning. 13-9 is the score in favor of Hutchinson. They did their damage all in 2 innings, Carv.
Yeah,
We'll talk about that on the post game here.
I think if you look at some of this, like your score sheets from the last few games, that's where, like I know the Derby Twins, that's what they did. They had the big innings, and it just killed us, except 1 game.
Yeah, and not only did we give them those, that one missing low for ball 3, so the count will go full now at 3-2. Ricky Hockett will be taken off on the pitch as there is 2 down here in the top half of the 9th. But you can't give them more than 3 outs in an inning.
No.
And then not making the correct play on certain plays. Here's the pitch. That one missing inside for ball 4. So Gaston will move over to first base on a base on balls. And Hockett will move over to second base. And that will bring up the second baseman, number 2, Jack Sigris. Sigris has made 2 great defensive plays here in the ball game for the Newton Rebels.
And the thing that just amazed me through this game are the left fielder for Hutch. How
Chadwick,
yeah, how he comes and plays so close and everything with that wind blowing. But, I mean, it's been, he's done a good job. I mean, they cover.
First pitch to Sigris is a ball. So the count is 1-0. And Chadwick threw 2 players out at home plate.
2 out, and that's because he is in. I mean,
Yeah.
because if he was way back there, no way of going against the wind. And he has a good arm already, but
1-0 the count. First pitch or second pitch is ball 2. Is that one high?
And I think Coach Clark's trying to be aggressive and send some guys in there just trying to get going. But, you know, these guys are usually, I mean, they have the 3 errors, which is usually you don't see that from a Hutch team.
And here's the pitch. That one in the inside corner. Takes the count to 2 balls, 1 strike now to Jack Sigris. As Hawkett's on at second base and Gaston on at first with 2 down. Down 13-9. We need base runners. And here's the pitch. Sigris did hit a home run in Newton. That one called strike 2 as it hit the outside corner.
Okay.
So that would take the count now to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Okay, he agreed with that one.
Yep.
But, you know, stepped out, right back in.
Just a pitch he didn't want.
Yeah.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs. And number 2 up. So the deuces are wild. And here's the pitch. That one missing inside for ball 3. So the count goes full now at 3-2. Hockett will be taken off at second. Ross will be, Gaston.
Yeah, Gaston at first.
Is on at first. They both go on the pitch. That one's fouled off. Well, I don't know what happened there, but Gaston was almost in second base, and and Hockett wasn't even halfway to third base.
They kind of took a late start. I guess nobody's going to pick you off with everybody back.
Yeah. Count is full now at 3-2.
That's what you do. You look where your infielders are.
Yep.
And that's why you have the first base coach over there watching them.
Here comes the full count pitch by Lucas. And it is ball 4. So Sigris will now go to first base on a base on balls. And that means Hockett will move to third base. Gaston will move to second. And that's going to bring up the shortstop, number 1, Andrew Brotman. Brotman flew out to the shortstop the last time at the plate. He also has a base on ball, struck out, flew out to right field, and an unassisted play at first base. So he's looking for his first hit of the ball game. That one missing low for ball 1.
Yeah, he just needs
1-0 now the count.
Stick with his approach. Just stick with his approach. Just, if it's a good pitch. Otherwise, right now the guy walked in front of you.
So the bases are loaded for Brotman with 2 down. Here in the top half of the 9th inning, the Rebels down 13-9. And here's Lucas's pitch. That one missing. Low for ball 2. 2-0 the count, and the Hutchinson Monarch fans are getting a little restless.
But you got to look at, like I said, the 2 guys in front of Brotman walked. So Brotman needs to be patient. He has to. I know he's an aggressive kid and everything. He wants to, but bases loaded. This could be a big inning.
So 2-0 now the count. Here's the pitch. And that one there was inside, but called strike. That one was for the fans that were.
There you go.
Actually, that was a good pitch, so the count goes to 2 balls, 1 strike.
Good inside pitch.
So here's Lucas's pitch. That one in, right down the Broadway. So that will even up the count now at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bases loaded with 2 down here in the top half of the 9th inning. Newton Rebels threatening. With the runners in scoring position. So it is all Andrew Brotman against Bryson Lucas. And here's the pitch. Fouled off by Brotman. That one inside, got him on the handles and was able to fight it off. So the count stays at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
If he gets a ball, it'd be nice to see the runners going.
Well,
type to play, And
we do know that we have some speed on that second base. If a ball's hit out in the outfield, that may score 2. But we have to wait till that happens before we call it.
Yep.
So the count 2-2 now to Brotman. And here's Lucas's pitch. That one low for ball 3. That one was in the ground. Great job there by the catcher, Stevens. So the runners will be taken off as we have a full count now, 3-2. with 2 down here in the top half of the 9th inning. Newton Rebels threatening as they are down 13-9, and the runners will be taken off on the pitch. And here it is. Lucas versus Brotman. That one missing high for ball 4.
Right.
So a run will score from third base as Hockett comes in to score to make it 13-10 now. Gaston will be moving over to third base.
Coach McKenzie.
Sigris will move to second.
Yep.
And Brotman reaches on a base on balls. Great job there by Brotman.
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
So we will be bringing in a new pitcher now for the Hutchinson Monarchs. And did I hear him say they're going to burn the DH? So if that's the case, then it would be Taylor Barber, the pitcher?
No, that coming from short pitch.
Okay.
Okay.
Will go into the 4-hole for Barber at second base, and moving over to short is Mckenzie from second base.
Nevid, the shortstop's coming in.
Shortstop coming in to pitch. That would be Dylan Nedved,
Barber.
number 9. Okay, so number 9, Dylan Barber, will now be the new pitcher for the Hudson Monarchs. You write that down here.
Yeah, Nevid's, like I said, he's a great athlete, very good athlete
Their attention, please, defensively
from the University of Iowa.
from second base over to shortstop is number 16, Anthony Mckenzie. Coming into the ball game to play second base is number 3, Drew Reed. Now pitching to the Monarchs, moving it from shortstop, number 9.
We got a new second baseman. Looks like number 3 is coming in.
Yeah,
Drew
that's
Reitz.
Drew Reitz.
And the designated hitter.
Drew Reitz is a Hutch JUCO player from Elkhorn, Nebraska, 5'11", 190.
McKenzie moves over to shortstop. So Taylor Barber now coming in to pitch for the Hudson Monarchs, and he'll be facing the first baseman, number 21, Lincoln Andrews. Lincoln has a double, a single, base on balls, and a home run. I mean, a strikeout.
Yeah.
First pitch is ball 1, so the count is 1 ball, no strikes. Now to Lincoln Andrews. We have runners, the base is full now with 2 down. The score is 13-10 in favor of Hutchinson. That one hitting the outside corner, so that will even up the count now at 1 ball and 1 strike. Gaston's on at third base. Sigris on at second. And Brutman on at first base. And here's Barber's pitch. That one missing high for ball 2.
Yeah, it was close, but
2 balls, 1 strike now to Lincoln Andrews.
Lincoln Andrews, probably the guy you want up right now. He's probably the hottest hitter the last 2-3 games.
So 2-1 up count. Swing and a miss there by Andrews. Will take the count to even up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. The base is loaded as the Newton Rebels are threatening, but there is 2 down here in the top half of the 9th inning as they're down 13-10. And here's Barber's pitch. That one missing high for ball 3. So we go to a full count now. All runners will be taken off again as we have a full count and 2 down here in the top half of the 9th inning. So all Lincoln Andrews needs to do is protect that home plate. And here's Barber's pitch. Swing and a miss there by Lincoln Andrews as he goes down swinging, and the Newton Rebels leave the bases loaded. So the final score is the Hutchinson Monarchs 13 and the Newton Rebels 10. Well, Mark, all we can say is 2 big innings given up by the Newton Rebels. Kind of shows exactly what happened. Let's go down through the rundown here. For the Newton Rebels, they scored 10 runs on 12 hits and 2 errors. For Hutchinson, they scored 13 runs on 13 hits and 3 errors. We started off the ball game by the Newton Rebels scoring 2 runs in the first. Then the bottom half of the 4th inning, they sent 13 batters up to the plate as they scored 9 runs to make it 9-2. And then no scoring again until the 7th inning when the Newton Rebels scored 6 runs to make it 9-8. And then the Newton Rebels scored 1 run in the 8th to make it, that 7th inning.
7th, yeah.
Okay, 4th. They scored 6 runs in the 6th and 1 run in the 7th to tie the ball game at 9 apiece. And then the bottom half of the 8th inning for the Hutchinson Monarchs, they scored 4 runs, and that made the score 13-9. Newton Rebels scored 1 run in the top half of the 9th to make it 13-10, and then that's the ball game.
Yeah,
so 2 big innings by Hutchinson and 2 bad innings for the Newton Rebels.
And this is something that the Rebels, hopefully they're learning. They're a young team versus a Hutch, who is very experienced type of team. And right now it's just those big innings. And you and I were talking about the losses have been a big inning.
Yep.
With our pitching's looking good, then all of a sudden, 4 or 5 runs, the crooked numbers you were talking about earlier, Frank, and you got to prevent that. And until we figure that out, this is kind of what's going to happen. And I know, we're all happy they're scoring runs because, you scored 10 runs, you should win a game. Yesterday scored 7. The other day, whatever it was, 9, whatever, But one thing that I think, and I talked to the Coach Clark about, because going into the season when putting this team together, he was real high on the pitching.
Yeah.
And, we have some good starters. And I think it will get better once they can expand into deeper. But we're looking at our bullpen. And I know we have a couple new players. Flack, I was impressed with him.
Yes, he did a great job tonight.
Yeah, so we'll look forward to seeing him pitch more, and he's going to contribute. And that's what I think we need. But he's been throwing a lot of guys, and I'm talking about Landwehr. You're talking about Zack Gillick. He's pitching a lot. And
pitching a lot, and he's gotten the first 2-3 outings that he had, he really did well.
Right.
And the last 2 outings, you could tell he was just a little bit tired. There's something.
He's not the same.
Not the same. Exactly right.
But see, you brought it up when you said he's not. He's usually 0-2. He comes right after you. And you can tell he's getting behind. So right now, but guess what? We got to keep playing.
Yeah.
We're playing every day. So
yeah, the Newton Rebels fall to 4-8 in league play, 5-8 overall. And the Hutchinson Monarchs move to 7-1 in league play. And it looks like that's what they are also.
Right.
7-1 for the overall. So, we just got to regroup here.
Yeah.
And this is 2 losses in a row now for the Newton Rebels. And like to remind you that we'll be in action tomorrow evening, and our game time tomorrow is 5 p.m. 5 p.m. And once again, the Newton, Kansas Rebels will not be hosting that on YouTube tomorrow because it is the showcase at the Eck. So that will be done by the Sunflower League on YouTube. So if you want to watch that game, go to the YouTube Sunflower League channel, and you'll be able to watch that ball game. I will be doing PA for the 2 games tomorrow at some showcase at the Eck. And so, but we will be back again on Wednesday. Not sure exactly where we play at. I'd have to look at the schedule. Let me look real quick here.
It's been tough just because every day you're playing, it's like we got to worry about today right now. But, yeah, I know we're playing, was it Wednesday, Thursday at home? Or
yeah, let's see here real quick. Today is the 29th. Is that correct? Sorry, I don't have this up real fast here, but
come out and support us. Come out and the team they're trying. We kind of had a little get together and big talk. Coaches, GM, players, and said what we're expecting out of you guys this summer. And they've been playing hard, Frank. Would you agree that they're playing hard?
Yeah. Tomorrow looks like we got the Wichita 18 and under Academy team at the Eck, and then we'll be home on the 1st against the Grays. That Colorado Grays?
No, that's Wichita Grays.
The Wichita Grays, okay.
That's
All right.
one of the teams that they filled in for us.
Right. Okay. Now this is the series that we were supposed to be playing El Dorado.
Right.
So we had to come up with some games. So we'll have the 18 and under group, and then we'll have the Grays, and then it looks like after that will be at Newton, and then after that looks like we'll be at Newton again against the Crushers. And I don't see another game here.
I think we have 4th of July.
The 4th of July we don't play, right?
Right.
Okay, so then we don't play again until the 5th, and I don't see us there. Oh, the Rebels here there. We'll be back at Centennial Park in Newton against the Patriots. We'll start taking on the Mulvane Patriots at that time.
So it's quite a homestand that we have right
quite
there.
a homestand coming up. So once again, tomorrow, go to YouTube and to Sunflower League channel. The Newton Rebels channel will not be on tomorrow evening. So we'll see you tomorrow evening at the showcase at the EC at the Sunflower League, and then we'll be back at home the next Wednesday at Centennial Park. So on behalf of General Manager Mark Carvalho, this is Frank Martinez, your play-by-play announcer for tonight's game. The final score, the Hutchinson Monarchs 13 and the Newton Rebels 10. We wish you a good evening and see you tomorrow night.